I'm in Texas today, and I'm at a Subaru dealer, which I haven't been to a Subaru dealer yet, but they're so busy. This place is packed, and this is their second location, which is just crazy. But today we've got Josh. Josh, thank you so much for meeting up with me, man.
Yes, sir.
You got a killer looking box. Love that red. I don't see red very often.
Yeah.
Especially with the black.
Yes, candy apple red.
And this is your cart too?
Yes, sir.
So it looks like you have two bays here.
Yes, one for heavy line, one for quicker moving jobs.
Okay. You guys just look so busy. Like really, seriously, so busy in here.
It's a good thing to be.
Right, it's a good problem, yeah. So how long have you been with Subaru?
I've been with Subaru going on 8 years now.
8 years.
So I started out with a Toyota Subaru joint dealer.
Okay.
So Subaru wasn't the main company I started out with. I went through the T10 program, which is a Toyota specific program, and then now I moved to Austin, Texas, and I work at exclusively a Subaru dealer at this point.
Oh, okay. What brought you to Austin?
I went to the national tech competition for Subaru, and then got recruited out. Since Austin Subaru is one of the bigger in the nation, they were there, and they made me an offer I just couldn't say no to. So here we are.
That's awesome. Man, so did you have to diagnose a vehicle there, or what does that do?
The competition was crazy. You had all the upper management in Subaru there. Some of the Japanese from the company were out there. High pressure. The faults weren't necessarily extremely difficult, but the situation that you're in, there's a time crunch of 45 minutes. You have to solve it. And I didn't win, but the experience alone, just to go to headquarters to experience it was, I mean, I'll never forget it.
That sounds amazing.
So yeah, it was a great experience. It taught me a lot, and hopefully I'll get to go back sometime again to compete.
Man. So do you like Texas though?
Yes, I do. A little bit hot compared to Oregon, but I definitely enjoy it, and it's a lot of people here.
Okay, yeah.
So good. It means we're busy, like you said, but yeah, just a lot of people, and I came from a very small town, so it's been an adjustment.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's a long ways away.
Yes.
So it looks like, I mean, I guess you do a lot of heavy line stuff?
Yes.
Yeah,
Subaru's always got usually engine oil leaks, transmission leaks, different things like that. Usually it's covered under warranty. They have a really good warranty. They have Gold Plus, which is like an extended warranty. So we stay busy. And yes, tons of heavy line to do, tied in with the normal brake jobs, tires, and maintenance on a vehicle.
Sure. So do you enjoy the Subaru brand?
Yeah, I do. It's a lot of the same. So like they have about 2 engines, 2 transmissions, and that's it. So you get very proficient at it. You get very quick. When it comes to flat rate pay, that's what you're looking for, and
awesome.
Something consistent that you know and can solve quickly. So
yeah, absolutely. So it looks like you have a massive set. Like I'm looking around, there's just
it just keeps going. It just keeps going.
Oh, this is cool too.
Yeah, there's just a little roll cart.
Sweet.
Everything in red that I can. It's always been my favorite color.
Okay.
And then the candy apple red, it kind of grew on me because I used to really enjoy just the classic red that Snap-on had, but the darker candy apple red, when I got the box, I mean, kind of grew on me more and more.
Man.
So
how long have you had this set up?
Not too long. So I came in from a built-in shop. So I had 2 built-in Snap-on class. They're kind of like a version of the Master series. They were just kind of unique to Toyota specifically. So when I moved down here, I had to purchase a box. So I purchased just this lower half here, and I have added the hutch and locker just because I needed a little bit more space, which we'll obviously see here.
Man. So did you buy this off the truck, or is this like a
Yep, so the bottom here was a ding and dent, so I really got a good deal on it. It was also like a promo, so it's like an unbeatable deal. It worked out. The Snap-on dealer I had in Oregon, I'd been a loyal customer, as you'll see, and he gave me a good deal. And the hutch and locker I did play close to list for, but I just really needed it, completed it, and man, ever since I started the automotive, this was a dream. And to have it now and get to work out of it every day, no matter the cost, it's worth it.
That's so awesome. So you say you bought this in Oregon?
Yes, so the bottom got bought in Oregon, and the hutch and locker were purchased in Texas.
Was it a big feat to move this across?
Yeah, so I had a good buddy who wanted to take a long drive for me, and he actually ended up driving back after he delivered me, but true friend, and we made it through with the trailer. Let me tell you, the move, moving states, and then also moving tools was, it was a process.
Oh, man. I can't even imagine.
A couple good friends and a road trip.
Yeah,
and we're here.
that's a true friend right there.
Yes,
That's
it is.
Awesome.
Yes, it is.
Man, so is that yours too down there, the Milwaukee?
Yep. So the Milwaukee over there, that is just kind of an overflow.
Okay.
It's not necessarily where my main tools are, and it's also open. So if some guys in the shop necessarily need something, it's a little bit more available. Where this is going to get locked up every night.
I see. That guy there too? Is that yours?
That's a roll cart or a tool tray. I use that when I do my teardowns. I like having the roll cart tied with that to basically move a table space so that obviously when I do the engine work over here, I'm working backwards. So it's nice to have all my tools and workspace move.
Yeah. Gosh, that's just it's so clean. Man, and just the whole shop too. It's packed in here.
Yeah.
But your shop is so clean.
Yeah. New year old, so hasn't got the dirt and grime yet. Give it some time, I'm sure, but I truly try to keep everything nice and clean. Coming from Toyota, they're big into organization, so that always caught on with me.
Oh, they do like the SSS? That's right. Okay.
Yep, and they're very process oriented, so I try to stay organized, try to stay clean, because I feel like that leads to a better product at the end of the day.
So what all do you typically keep up here? It looks like maybe you don't work up here.
No, I don't work out of the hutch. The hutch is going to hold all the stuff that I need just on a day-to-day, scan tools, a jump box if I need it, thermal imager, battery tester. The whole point of this is the hutch, I don't work out of it, but I can lock all this big items up, so it's really nice to have. Obviously, I got the monitor in there, which is fantastic. I love having that wide display because I can have a parts catalog and labor time guides and all my CDK up on one screen.
Yeah.
The only thing I work out of up there is the phone, the keyboard, stuff like that. All the work is done elsewhere out of the box.
Looks like you have a couple of different scan tools here.
Yeah, so I have the Subaru factory tool here. So anytime we're working for warranty purposes, we have to obviously use their product. When it's not warranty and I'm allowed a little bit more flexibility, I do have the Top Don and I have a Zeus. I picked this up used. I've been wanting one for a while. I just had to wait till they got to the price point that I'd want to pay because I'm not using that every day. But the lab scope on that and also that working on the older Subarus, I find it to be a lot better than just the generic Subaru scan tool.
Really? Okay.
It's a lot more refined, I guess I would say.
Okay.
But the new Top Don is also amazing. I bought that 2 years ago now. I like the scope on that, but I definitely prefer the Zeus on that.
I didn't know that had a scope on that.
Yeah, it does if you buy the edition, which is somewhere down in here. Top Don is great though, big screen, and that can do more than the Zeus.
Really?
And I think it's just because of, if you talk to the Snap-on guy, there's restrictions on what Snap-on has access to.
Gotcha. Yeah, so, that makes sense.
But each have their own place, but better to have more than less, I guess.
Absolutely. Got a massive jump box over there?
Yeah, so this one is, I used to, back in Oregon, it was a small dealership, so you're working on anything.
Sure.
So diesels, big trucks, anything. Obviously, Toyota has some trucks themselves. Would probably never need this for a Subaru, and if I did, it's probably really dead. But when you need something that's going to start, that's what you go to. And it's a little bit of a pain to get out, but I've never had this not start a car.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I always make fun of these. Like, can I touch these?
Yeah, go for it.
Like, it looks like a toaster. Like,
yep.
So I see a couple different lights here.
Yeah, you can never have enough, right?
Yeah.
This one I bought a very long time ago, UV light. I don't really use the main light anymore.
Okay. You said that has a UV?
Yes.
Oh.
UV function on the back of it. It's not super bright, but I don't use UV too much, so
gotcha. Okay.
It's for when I need it. Standard Pro Stick Mac lights. This is kind of just my go-to for inspections. If I need to shine some light, because we do video MPIs, I like to use that during my walk around to kind of show customers what's going on.
Nice.
And then this one back here doesn't get used too much anymore, but again, just kind of a bigger Pro Stick light, so if you're working in one area, you can shine bunch of light on it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So is this magnetic or something? Why does it have a
Yeah, it does have a magnet on top of it. I've never used it like that.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah, it's got all kinds of magnets all over the place. If you need to make it work, it will work.
Awesome. And is this something back here, or is that just something that goes to the top?
Yeah, so this is Jarhead Diagnostics mount, because the original one, it doesn't come attached to the tool.
Oh,
so that
really?
always drove me crazy because it would just kind of sit somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
So this allows you to
Look at that.
have it slide on and lock in place.
Oh, that's so nice.
And then the scope that goes with this as well can also lock onto the back of it. So this definitely completed it, because I just like keeping it all together, nice and tidy, and then you can just grab and go.
Yeah.
Because I don't like having to grab two different things.
Wow, that's sweet. I love all these different. Are those like certifications?
Yeah, so those are from the Portland region, different certification levels as you worked your way through Toyota. The one here is going to be the Quality Champion, which was right before I left for Subaru here. I got in the zone Quality Champion Award, which is basically for doing dealer product reports on vehicles and trying to improve Toyota's quality. So that was great. Yeah, they're all over the place. And then I have more on the wall over there. And then we have our ASC certifications on the locker.
Oh my gosh.
There.
Oh, you have like a whole, literally like an office all around here.
I try to make my work area my own. Like, if you look around the shop, it's very white walls. So
yeah.
The flags and everything, I just like, if it's going to be my area, I like to make it my area.
Oh,
and luckily
sweet.
the shop I work at lets me do that.
That's cool.
So the top drawer, I think most people always have sockets in it. Lots of metric. Really don't need a lot of SAE. I do have a little bit over here in the corner, but for the most part, a lot of sockets. Probably a little bit overkill for just Subaru, but when I was working on Toyotas and Subarus, we definitely had to have a lot of different setups for getting in tight spaces. But with Subarus, it's a lot simpler. You'll see a lot of missing, and that's going to be because all that moves to the roll cart. I like to have the stuff that I use daily on the roll cart so I can keep it with it. So this is all going to be overflow. This is probably something that I don't come and grab too often.
Yeah. So are these all the Hansen trays? Is that what these are?
Snap-on.
Snap-on. Okay.
I don't know if there's any Hansens in here anymore. Okay. I know I had them originally, but when I went to get the mid-lengths, I switched to the Snap-on. They're lifetime warranty. They're more expensive, obviously, but also you kind of get the color of the red and black.
I saw that.
Yeah, so it's a very minor difference, but also I did have on the Hansen tray, I broke one of those, and at that point you do have to buy another one with the Snap-on. Gotcha. They tell me they warranty it, so
nice.
If I get there, I get there.
Love it. And all your sockets, do you have a brand that you typically follow?
I lead towards Snap-on. When I first started, I worked out of Cobalt, so I bought super cheap out of the gate. I definitely would not recommend to any young technician to go out and just throw themselves into debt. But what I've been doing is basically, as I go through my career, here and there I'll pick up a Snap-on set, and I usually will go try to look on eBay, see if there's any deals or different things like that, and then of course if there's a deal on the truck, I'll go that way. But it's just slow process. It's not all purchased all at once, obviously, right? Because that would be a lot. I do have a couple Matco for the 1/4 inch because I just couldn't justify the price on the Snap-ons for those, and they had a good promo going on. But other than that, anything you're going to see a chrome is going to be Snap-on. I really prefer just the chrome sockets on the Snap-ons.
Gotcha.
And the impacts are good as well. So I guess you could say Snap-on's probably the preferred brand when it comes to the sockets.
Nice. Yeah, what are these guys? These are all
so those are just specialty socket sets, knock sensors, different things like that. Okay. I believe it is a max set. I try to keep all the storage cases out. You'll see a few over here, but you want to save space, so I try to utilize the box to its full potential.
Yeah, definitely save space to take them out. So this looks weird.
So this would be just a specialty tool. Honestly, don't think I've ever used it.
Okay.
But I'm sure for some diesel or anything like that, it's got that little slit to go around a wire. So the ones that I'll use usually are something like this, and this is for an oxygen sensor. Gotcha. Tight space, so you don't have to drop the exhaust down. Yeah. Save you a little bit of time.
And this is cool, just like an extension with a...
Yeah, universal. I believe I bought this back when I was working on Toyotas. There was just something tight space, and I needed to have 1/2 inch, obviously, for the power.
Gotcha. So going from Toyota to Subaru. Which do you prefer?
Well, I think working on them, I would say probably Toyota, just because I get to use more tools. Like the whole reason that I have the tools that I have is I really enjoy having the right tool for the right job. And with Subarus, what's great is that they're simple. What's also the downside is after you've been doing it for a long time, it gets repetitive, right? Yeah. So I don't get to bust out all the cool tools that I used to, but I do get to work on Toyotas occasionally on the weekend and different things like that. So
nice.
Long term, I'm sure I'll go back to working with all of them again.
Love it.
I used to use these quite a bit when I was doing interior work, just magnetic. Quick chucks. I have an obsession with the quick chuck guns, the impact guns.
Nice.
I like them. They're just quick and easy. Disconnect and switch to a different socket. So I have a few of those.
Yeah.
Grip edge, which I'm sure everyone has seen by now, but different extractors, smaller Allens, obviously swivel sop. It's different size Allens, and some of the sets here is just stuff that I picked up that's used cheap. I'll always ask a tool truck, what do you got that's used? Because like the long term for me is I'm looking to, have my own shop someday. So for every purchase I make, it's just one step closer. I'm just doing it nice and slow, so I don't have to buy it all at once.
That's cool to know that. That's your ambition. That's really cool.
Yeah.
This makes sense. Like this.
It makes more sense, yeah. So these are some of my favorites. Again, it goes back to the quick chuck. So I love using these for expansion valves on Subarus. They use the little Allen keys, also just the little bit of wobble that you get out of it. It's not obviously for high torque, but it's nice to have that extension. And then these will be some of my favorites, which they're going to be over there, but just a socket on the end, 12 point.
Look at that.
I use these every day, the 10, 12, and the 8 are my go-to.
Nice.
The first thing that I'm going to do.
That's awesome that the swivel's built into the...
Yeah, it just makes it quick and easy, and usually you don't have to go get an extension or go get a swivel. It's just all in one.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, one last thing. What are those?
These right here?
Yeah.
They're just a quick chuck on a keychain. I saw that a lot of construction guys would use them. So if I'm doing interior work, the whole point is just to grab this and go into the interior, and then I can have a swivel or whatever I might need.
Oh, okay.
To go.
So it's like a holder.
Yep, just a quick little holder.
Nice. And sorry, what's this too? What are these?
These were just the little cutouts in the sockets. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but spare tires on some vehicles will have a little T. The one that comes to mind is the Sienna. There was this recall where you'd have to bring the spare tire down. You use one of these sockets, and you can use a drill to bring it down rather than the old hand crank. So the next one here is going to be wrenches, overflow again, because I do have a lot in the roll cart as well.
Man,
extensions, and just some pry bars, and then obviously some big breaker bars that aren't going to be in the daily use as well. You'll see some bigger wrenches here. This one again is just a massive wrench. So Sequoias, the alignments usually use 27, 30 millimeter for the rear adjustment. So it doesn't get used much anymore, but it came in handy the few times that it did.
Oh,
and then they also had the oversized 24 and 25 as well.
Gotcha.
These are my go-to wrenches. Now I have snap-on for the lower sizes.
Okay.
Just the biggest thing is the switch.
Okay.
These are super expensive, and I already had the Matco set, but that switch right there saves you in tight spaces.
Oh, really?
Because this will hit and change, and this back switch, it just makes it so much easier. And also just having the snap-on ratchet, I prefer it. We have some Japanese screwdrivers for extremely small stuff. Doesn't get used very much, but something I found on Amazon. If I'm not going to use a tool a ton, I'll try to go a little bit cheaper, at least at first. If I start using it more and more, obviously I might switch to a different brand. Something like this, I usually will try to find a Japanese or a Taiwanese, because I just feel like it's a better quality than most of the Chinese-made stuff. Lady's foot, I think they have a couple different names out there. Yeah. These are great for suspension, alignments, and prying something that you get in a tight spot. Generic long screwdriver set from Snap-on. Okay. Ratcheting screwdriver, not something I bust out every day, but nice to have.
Yeah.
They had a while ago a promo on the angled wrenches. So these for like power steering racks on Tacomas and Subarus back when they had the hydraulic power steering rack. These would just give you that little bit extra, and then since you can flip and change the angle, it saved your butt.
I like that they have the Flank Drive Plus on those too.
Yeah, those are great. Snap-on wrenches, snap-on sockets, snap-on ratchets. They're just my favorite.
Yeah.
Like it might come down to preference, but I truly do. I just like how they feel in the hand. Kind of a unique one here that might not be so common is going to be SKs. I bought this set when I first started.
Really?
Yeah, so actually my mom might have bought it when I first started out, but they are the just very fine tooth. I mean, I don't know if you can
that sounds
hear
good. Yeah.
but yeah, they're very fine tooth. I love them. They're one of my favorite wrenches that might be more sentimental than anything else, but I've had that set for quite a while.
So are those USA made?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, they are?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's still true today. I don't even know if they sell them today, but I love them.
They look sweet. I like them.
Yeah, they're kind of a cool, unique design as well. Standard wrench set all the way up to 32. That's going to be, again, from Toyota. Okay. So this is going to be all the overflow. And then this set right here, that special little bit there that allows you to basically create a ratcheting mechanism on a bolt.
Okay.
So for tight spaces, and then it's got the normal ratcheting mechanism on the back of the thing.
Nice.
I bought these just because on Subarus there's this one transmission that has these really tight bolts that actually back up against the body. So you get to a point where you can't use a ratcheting. So this fit in there just right. Awesome. Allows you a little bit more, speed. This one, chopped up specialty. This one comes from my mentor. Subaru's old EJs, you would have to, if you were going to do the head gaskets in car, you would have to get this exhaust pipe that went into the back of the head. So he created this, which is 7/8, and then he took a little notch. And the whole point is that you take a pry bar tip, hit that, and then you could take a hammer and hit it and break it free.
That's genius.
So this one sits there, doesn't get used too much because those cars are getting old at this point, but that always reminds me of him. Another one that is one of his tools here is a 10 millimeter. I believe this is for carburetors. I've never used it on a carburetor, but that's what I believe. Valve cover gaskets on Subarus, really tight against the body. So this will allow you to do that ratcheting mechanism and help out. So both of those are sentimental to me. I'll always keep them and remember him.
That's cool.
And all he taught me, and so grateful for that. Snap-on wrenches. These are just handy to have, adjustable wrenches. They have the flank drive.
Okay.
I think I originally was using them for alignments back in the day, but I have other wrenches for that at this point. Gotcha. But this was an early purchase as well. Big, flexible pry bar. Just kind of handy to have. You never know when you're going to need a different angle. Haven't really tested the strength on it. Okay. Don't know if I want to. But I use it. Sometimes we'll have a transmission rusted. This will kind of allow a different prying than a normal pry bar, get you a different angle on it. It works perfectly for that, and just prying things.
Yeah. Now what's this thing here?
This one?
Yeah.
This is going to be a specialty tool for axle pins to actually, so basically there's a pin that goes through the axle on a Subaru. You have to punch it out to remove the snub shaft from it.
Oh, I see.
Older tool again,
gotcha.
But you need it.
And then that thing?
This one right here is going to be for Toyotas, holding the cam sprockets on older timing belt engines. Basically, they were really tight, and they got even tighter the longer that they were in the car. And so if you didn't have something really beefy, they would snap off, and you wouldn't be able to hold it in cars. So this tool allowed you to do that. And I think you'd normally like wedge it up against something and hold it in place for you. So that was able, so you could torque those down.
Yeah, that thing looks beefy.
Yeah, it better be. These were for transmissions on Toyotas because you have the long reach. Don't necessarily need it too much with Subarus because most of the bolts are really easy to access. But basically, this is going to be, a 1/2 inch to a 3/8. And then it's also got a locking because you probably have a swivel on this, and the last thing you want is it to go flying, hit something.
So are all these 1/2 inch to?
I believe so, yeah.
They are?
Yep.
Oh, that's nice. I've only ever seen like the longer ones.
Yes, and I believe this is, max set.
Okay.
They had a deal on them a long time ago and scooped them up, and definitely makes life easier when you have those bolts way up there that you just can't get a straight shot at.
Yeah.
Here's an oldie. Good old Pittsburgh.
There you go.
So like I said, when I first started out, I bought cheap. So Harbor Freight obviously has come leagues from years ago, but
Right.
this was one of the early tools that I had, and I still keep it in here because hasn't failed me yet, right?
Yeah.
And then this guy is going to be the Snap-on, which is going to be the longer, a lot beefier. This is when you have a problem and you need it to be fixed, and has come in handy many a times when something is not working with you.
And these organizers, are these?
Toolbox widget, I'll
Toolbox
lay
widget,
here.
okay.
I definitely like them the best because the wrench drawer in the toolbox is shallow. So these
okay.
allow you to organize but not stack too high.
I see, yeah.
Definitely an investment to make, but I mean, it keeps it super organized, and it allows you to fit a lot more into the drawer than if you use the Snap-on organizers, which usually will have a lot more space taken up.
I always thought they just did wrenches, but man, they do like a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, so you can use them for anything that basically fits. So I bought when they were kind of a newer company, and I've just kind of fit them to different things. Some things they do, sometimes they don't. They actually have created different thicknesses now, so you can put a little bit more different things. I believe this one's going to be a plier one, this one's going to be a wrench one, this one's going to be a screwdriver. So
Gotcha.
they fit different things. It's just about playing around.
Yeah, oh, that's sweet.
So this is going to be pliers and a little bit of hammers down there. I guess we'll start off with the biggest one, is the old Nipex set
There
here.
it is.
Again, kind of more on a Toyota thing, but when stuff was stuck, that would make it unstuck. So not something you want to bust out every day, but nice to have. Anytime I had like a seize caliper too, those give you just so much leverage that you might be able to unseize it before you have to go to replace it and try to save the customer some money.
So I'm curious, does Oregon have like more like rust and stuff? Or?
Definitely more than Texas.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you, like when I moved down here, I got a pay raise just because you don't have to deal with any of it. It definitely is not like Rust Belt, so please, anyone in New York, my hearts go out to you. It wasn't that bad, but we did have coast.
Okay.
So I was on the Oregon coast, so I did have occasionally a car come in that definitely was not going to cooperate with you on getting a part.
Yeah.
So I definitely have not experienced the New York style rust, but I did have a little bit of a fair share and had to have some tools for it. But Texas, to anyone that's considering the move as a mechanic, it doesn't get easier.
Oh, really?
Like just the rust is non-existent.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
I love that.
Going into some pliers, these are some Mac snap rings, and I just bought these because they allow you to do the quick adjustment. So basically you can flip from inside to out, just like that.
Yeah.
These are some long reach hose, and they're meant for turning rubber hoses, but my preference, honestly, I don't use these for hoses a lot.
Oh, really?
Just because usually with rubber, you're damaging it with the grip here.
Okay.
So in a pinch, if I'm going to replace that hose, I'll probably use this, but for the most part, I try to keep this away from those hoses because the last thing I want to do is rip and tear it.
Right.
I do use it for things that it's probably not meant for, but just holding different things in tighter spaces, maybe even putting a nut on or different things like that. They just have that long reach, and they have kind of a unique shape that allows you to do all kinds of interesting things for them.
Yeah.
And then I have just the smaller set of those as well. Another old tool here, I believe these are gear wrench from way back in the day, just clip puller. I use these when they're stuck. I do have a couple different options, so these don't get used too much anymore. Okay. But they did me good for years, and they get to stay in the box. Nice. Legacy. I got some Matco long reach hose pliers, just for those pain in the butt clamps.
Yeah.
I don't really use these to remove the hose, but or the clamp. I just use it to get into the right position, so then I can grab some pliers and actually move it.
Yeah.
I just find that when you go to clamp the clamp, it doesn't have the stability to really move it on the line if it's tight. So I just use this to get it in position, and then I have the bigger sizes for a bigger.
Okay. I was going to ask why you have two, but
yeah. So they actually updated them to where they can take the bigger sizes now on the same pair. I don't know if they still make this bigger size, but that was when they first came out. Just some standard pinch off pliers if you're ever doing brake caliper, anything like that. Don't want to make a mess.
Yeah.
So you just put it around the hose and it'll stop it from leaking fluid everywhere.
Cool. Oh, what are those?
This is a unique tool. This is from my Snap-on dealer. So if any of you guys have ever had these loosen up on you, and they'll kind of slide out of place.
Like the trim?
Yep.
Okay.
This actually grabs on and tightens it up.
What?
Obviously you want to use some tape, but yes, this is a Snap-on. You can probably ask your rep, they might have it. He left me these pliers just in case I had any more loosen up because I had some on that roll cart.
Okay.
But basically this will tighten that trim down and make it tight so it doesn't slide side to side anymore. So
wow.
There's a unique one for you.
Yeah.
Nipex hog ring pliers for upholstery. I also have, I believe I bought these from Mac. I don't think they are Mac. Prefer the Nipex. Gotcha. These are decent and the angle is nice, but these just feel so much better in the hand.
They look good.
And they're also thinner, so you can get it into a tighter spot.
That makes sense, yeah.
I used to use these all the time, switched to this from one of the master techs here. He was like, try this out, and
nice. Sold. So do you do a lot of like interior work and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of comes and goes in waves, but we actually have like have had a couple of seat cushion issues, so we'll replace the cushion assembly, and there's a lot of hog rings to do. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. I actually kind of enjoy it. It's not terrible. It's quiet. It can get a little messy, depending on the car. But yeah, definitely worse. Old disconnect pliers to grab a connector, disconnect it. Again, not something I use a lot, but if I have a really stubborn one, I'll go to these.
Nice.
But I do experience that sometimes breaking that clip, especially what I've noticed in Texas is the heat. Mm-hmm. Plastic, rubber, it's very brittle from the hot temperatures, probably driving. I mean, it gets up to like 110, 115 sometimes in the summer here. So I have noticed things are a lot more brittle, so I really try not to be forceful with anything.
Yeah, I was so excited to, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I was so excited to come to Texas because right now in Utah, it's like 25 degrees. And I get here, it's the exact same. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, we're having a little bit of a cold snap. All I can say about Texas weather is it's unpredictable.
Okay.
My first week here, we had hail that was golf ball size. And I had never seen anything like that. We lost power in this building my first week, and I was just like, wow, this is wild.
What did I get myself into?
Yeah, what did I get myself into? Moving on, we got some flush cut pliers, zip ties, different things like that. I used to do a lot of accessory work at my last place just because small dealer. They didn't have an accessory guy. So trailer harnesses, stuff like that. You're cutting a lot of zip ties sometimes in tight spots.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Another kind of old tool, but this was my original wire stripper. Did me good for years and years. Tight spaces and still works. Like I said, Snap-on pliers for me. I love the feel.
Yeah.
I like the rubber. Icon can try their best to reproduce it, but I've felt the pliers. It doesn't feel the same.
It's different. Like they look the same.
They look the same. They probably are doing the same thing, but the feel in the hand for me, it's not ever going to beat it. This was a kind of funny deal. There was an Amazon Black Friday purchase, so I bought this thinking that it was going to be bigger, and that it only opens this much. I actually did find a use for it though. Anytime I have like the metal band straps around a transmission.
Oh yeah, okay.
These actually work pretty good, but it was pretty funny to me because I was like so excited to have these, and then it opens like that much, and I was like, well, okay, I guess we'll find a use for it. Just a standard set of Mac. I mean, vice grips, lifetime warranty. That's all that mattered to me. There was a deal on them. Pick them up.
Awesome. So you mentioned like Mac and then Snap-on. Do you get all the trucks out here?
Yeah, so we're pretty good here. We get Cornwell, Mac, Macco, and Snap-on.
Oh, nice.
I would say Snap-on is definitely our most consistent, but all of the guys so far have been pretty good to me. So it's been good.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite that you like to get on?
Snap-on. I think you guys can probably tell, right? I've always had really good Snap-on dealers. Obviously, the dealer makes the brand for some people, for sure. But no, the dealer have always been really good to me, fair. We all know they're expensive, but there's a reason we all buy it, right? So moving down, we're kind of getting into the hammer section down here. This is going to be a Mac axle seal puller. Try to be careful with this because I had it score up the surface that it pulls off of, depending on how you leverage. So I don't always use it, but when you need or it's a tight spot. Sometimes it's your only option, so you just got to be careful.
So what do you use instead of that?
So sometimes actually a pry bar will work a little bit better.
Gotcha.
It's just whether you can get it started. Sometimes you can put a screw into the seal and then pull it out with some pliers.
Gotcha.
Lots of different ways. It just all depends on what you're doing. Punch and chisel set. This is the chisel holder. When you're taking off bearings on Toyotas, you want this because you don't want your hand anywhere near that chisel. No matter how good of a shot you are, sometimes you're going to miss.
Yeah.
Snap-on hammers are another thing. The dead blow built into it. I mean, those are awesome. Some snap-on pliers. These are pretty good. These will mar up anything you use. So I try not to use them just on my general alignments because it does kind of screw up that inner tie rod.
Sure.
Because of the bite on it. But when you need it to move, this will work. Anti-vibes, this was one of my first sets that I bought, just a generic hammer set. Super solid, has always been really good to me.
Nice.
When you need it, and they have a really good deal on them most of the time.
Okay.
So again, coming from Toyota, this was building four-wheel drives. I can't remember exactly, but you need to like tap on a stud, and you don't want to do a lot of damage. You can see where that hits, but basically it kind of like breaks free whatever the washer or something that was holding it on.
Okay.
Haven't done one in a long time.
Yeah.
But I remember I needed it, and I remember how to use it if I see it again.
Okay.
But yeah, the brass punches, you just don't want to do damage to certain surfaces. So this is just a complete punch set from Snap-on, all just organized up in a container. Like to keep it neat because they'll get everywhere.
Yeah, I like that because the roll that they come in is like huge.
Yeah, it takes up a lot of space. So like, you know, I try to maximize what I can fit in here. Even the pliers here, they can actually, you know, get a little bit more condensed, but I don't necessarily need to yet.
Yeah.
So kind of my way is like if I buy a new tool and I don't have room, I'll organize it to try to fit it, and unfortunately, eventually, you get to a point where it doesn't fit anymore. So then we have some just snap ring pliers again, different type. These are one of my go-tos. They got the little grips there.
Oh, that's nice.
They work great, and they feel fantastic. And when you're messing around with the snap rings, you want something that's sturdy, not flimsy. These pliers are awesome for that. This is a Japanese tool. This was from Mr. Subaru. Saw one of his posts. This is basically to pull plastic trim, kind of similar to that.
Okay.
The difference is this kind of allows you to adjust the jaws.
Oh.
So you don't go too deep, because the problem with those plastic clips is if you push too far, it actually comes out too far and then it won't fully remove.
Oh.
So you have to do like a half remove. That's what this will tool, and then you can pull straight down.
Yeah. So I guess it'd be hard to like put pressure on it and like pull at the
Yeah,
same
so
time.
this tool kind of makes it so you can't go too far.
That makes sense.
So great design. Gear wrench, battery terminal spreader.
Oh, nice.
We would have to replace, still do occasionally, corrosion. Use an aftermarket terminal with heavier duty, like a lead. Sometimes you need to open them up a little bit to fit the battery you have. Relay pulling pliers, nothing special. The only thing I don't really like about these is they're kind of flimsy.
Oh,
like they just seem a little bit, I would prefer something a little bit thicker, but maybe they don't do that so you don't crush the, the relay. This was the original one.
That looks cool.
Of the hose clamp pliers, but it had adjustable.
Look
so
at that.
Before I bought the set here, this was just like a generic use. If I knew that I was going to damage a hose or I needed it off no matter what, this would be what I'd use to grip it.
That's awesome.
So that one works good.
I've never seen them like slip joint. That's cool.
Yeah, and that's a mountain set on Amazon. That was a while back, so who knows if they're still out there. So we're going to go into some more Toyota stuff. Axle boot rebuilding kits. These are going to be for the clamps, and you need a ton of leverage on these. So you can see they have the square drives for a half inch. I don't think I've ever had to use that, but when it comes to rebuilding axles and replacing the boots, you need these tools, and there's a few different types.
Oh, okay. Wait, so what's that for?
This is going to be another clamp
no way.
tools for rebuilding them, because they're different styles, and they all use a different, and I believe, that one right there, you can see a different tip. And this one, I believe also I've used it on axle boots, but I believe it was a brake drum tool.
That's what I was like,
yeah,
that
yeah,
looks cool.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, so I have used it for axle boots, but it is a brake drum tool to remove the little horseshoe.
Right, yeah, to spread it out, yeah.
Because with Toyotas, they had the Tacoma, and up until recently, had drum brakes. Gosh, it might have been 2019.
Really?
They were still having drum brakes, so yeah. I still would have to work on them.
Nice.
They were never my favorite. Going into next, we have just a generic set of small pliers. I don't really use these too much, but when I do need something a little bit smaller or fine,
Nice.
that's going to be them. As you can see, they're rusting. The other thing I've noticed about Texas, humidity is getting in a toolbox.
Huh.
I have some of my snap-on sockets that are rusting. I tried some desiccants here. You'll see them throughout the toolbox. Don't know if they're working too well.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd say that this set, in the move down here, because the tools sat for a little bit of time before I actually came on site.
Gotcha.
That's when they started getting a little bit rusty on them. Just very fine gear wrench pliers.
Nice.
These work great. Haven't had to bust them out too many times. But yeah, pretty straightforward.
I love that. Are these the double
X,
joint?
yes. Sorry.
That's so cool.
So occasionally, if you need something.
Look at that.
Yep. So tight spaces, and they make
They
a nice
lock
sound.
too. That's cool.
So this is going to be overflow ratchet drawer, overflow extensions, and some air guns here. With ratchets, don't really need to have this many, but for me, it's kind of a collector's thing. So like, I think I picked this one up for $50 on the tool truck that somebody sold. So like, I'm always looking if there's a cheap deal on one and I don't have it in the collection. Great.
Nice, yeah.
We're gonna add it in. I always prefer the snap-on ratchets. I'll be honest though, the new one, I'm not the biggest fan.
Really?
I don't know what it is, but the handle design doesn't feel very good, and I just don't enjoy it as much.
Really?
So I like the 80 tooth or the 90 tooth, whichever they are.
Gotcha.
Better. And then, but other than that, I mean, yeah, just tons of snap-on ratchets, everything I want. I use this one for timing an engine. I like that it's not wobbly. So I can just ratchet, and I'll usually use it tied with a specialty socket to go on the crank, and just use it to turn over the engine. This is one of my favorites. It's a Japanese Koken ratchet.
Nice.
I just play with it.
Yeah.
The sound is good. I use it occasionally, but yeah, it just sounds good, and it's a beautiful design. This just a little ratchet. So there was a deal way back on 1/4-inch master sets.
Okay.
SAE metric 1/4-inch sockets, which I had up here, and then ratchets. It was like a complete kit. I think it was $1,000 or something. So I jumped on it at the time. So I ended up with this coin, long ratchets, so just a full set. So
nice.
That came in there. I've used that once or twice in a tight spot. As far as the extension goes, nothing too special, except they are the Wobble Plus.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So just give you a little bit more access on the chrome.
Do you like those? Like the
Yeah,
Wobble Plus?
they work pretty good. I don't use them as a daily because the joint begins to wear out.
Oh, okay.
So I try to only use them when I actually need them, not try to use them on an impact or anything like that. This is going to be part of the electrical drawer. I guess I should probably open up the other one.
Oh, yeah.
So I also have more in the locker, but this is going to be all the stuff that basically isn't out of the locker.
Okay.
It's kind of set up to where this is going to be electrical repair, and then this is going to be kind of more of a diagnostic side. Fluke meter. This one was the original first purchase. $100 on eBay.
Oh, look at that.
And you can't go wrong.
Right?
I'm still kicking it today. I love Flukes. When it comes to meters, I've had the Snap-on, I've had this Kirin. I even had a Mac at one point. Flukes are the way to go for me. And you can get them used from electricians, super cheap online. So I actually have a second one in my other toolbox there, but those have always been my favorite.
Awesome.
Wire strippers. These are my go-to. Definitely my favorite, just automatic. I don't like using the manuals. This is just way quicker and easier, especially when you're doing a ton. The Nipex are expensive, but I find that the other brands, like I use the Blue Point and the different, other Amazon brands, these definitely work better. And then this is just a little bit tighter space. I don't prefer it as much as the Nipex, but when you're in a tight spot in a dash or something, sometimes you don't get to be choosy.
Makes sense.
Milwaukee soldering iron.
Nice. You like that?
Yep, yeah, it works pretty good, and it's just like, I don't use the soldering iron too much, so when I have it, it's nice that it's wireless, don't have to hook anything up, and it goes with everything else.
Does it heat up pretty quick?
Yeah, it does pretty quick, you know, couple, I would say 30 seconds at most or something like that, and then cools off for you and everything like that, so pretty easy. No complaints. Don't do a lot of soldering, so
Gotcha.
when I need it, I need it. Snap-on blowtorch. This is great. This one might be of interest. This is a good old Amazon find from one of our master techs here. You plug in different ports, and it will diagnose if there's an open. And then if you have an intermittent fault on like a USB, so we have a lot of Apple CarPlay concerns. I think every brand does nowadays. You plug into their cord here, and it will actually tell you if there's a fault. You can wiggle the cord and see it will read it if it is bad or good.
So you're diagnosing the cord?
Yep.
Oh, so you put both ends?
Yep. Just yep. And then hook it up, and then it can tell you if there's an intermittent fault or anything.
No way.
Like, I think it was like $10 on Amazon.
Really?
And it can save you so much time because it gives you the confirmation, right? Because like I for a long time, it was basically tell the customer, okay, let's get you a new cord. That's going to be the first start before we go and replace this $1,000 radio unit. So this is nice, just to give a confirmation. And when I actually do have a bad one, I can do a video, can show them. I've also used it to diagnose like scan tool cables. Like occasionally they'll go bad, so it has like a port that I can plug it into and check them out and stuff. So not a bad buy. This is going to be a specialty tool for hybrid recall on Toyotas, basically pulling a thick relay. It was just a really nice tool that they gave. So different pin-out tools from Snap-on. This is kind of a cool one that I like. This allows you to plug into the 12-volt socket in the vehicle, get power ground straight out of it. Also tells you if that socket's working with the bulb right there. So nice for diagnostics in the car. Also just for checking that 12-volt. We got a Mac Tool remote starter. On Toyotas, this allowed us to prime the engines. So you would basically disable the fuel injectors and crank this over. This all right here is just my way of organizing a little bit of the madness, but this is going to be different electrical connections, everything like that, different probes. A couple power probe things in there for the other side. Can never have enough. I think I bought a complete set from Amazon at one point, and so the remnants sit there. This is a Noid light. It's meant for testing injectors. Oh, sliding. But I use it for door actuators. It changes red, green, depending on power or ground flowing which way. So it's a very nice visual cue. What I usually use it for is if there's a door lock actuator and I want to test it from the other side, I can stick this to a point where I can see it and it'll light up red, green, and I know that it's got power over at the window. This is going to be the Kirin multimeter. I originally kind of bought it to play around with because it hooks up to a tablet. I use it for parasitic draws. And a draw that I'm going to suspect that is not something that's going to be a quick and easy find. Because the nice thing is I can leave this on a car, have it on the tablet, let it run for 20, 30 minutes and see if there's a draw that comes out of nowhere and then goes away, because sometimes we have that intermittent.
So it just Bluetooth to the tablet?
Bluetooth to the tablet that I have up there, and it's just a multimeter. It's a nice modern multimeter. It has a bunch of additional functions, but honestly, I go to the Fluke for most of my stuff. So.
And so you mentioned you don't use the soldering iron very much.
No.
Do you prefer like crimps?
Yeah, crimps and the solder that are built in. That's what Toyota had us use for a very long time. So you just crimp it and then heat it up. Done. Don't even have to think about it. It doesn't look as clean. Like you'll see a lump in the wiring harness, but it's a quicker, easier. It's also like 100% of the time you're gonna get it correct. There's no guesswork on it. So over here, this is gonna be the other half of the top-down scope with the jar head diagnostics. Quick low. So that will slide in to the back of the scan tool, so if you wanted to hook it up.
Look at that scope up there, that's awesome.
So the scope is pretty good. Like I said, I do prefer the Zeus. The Zeus is just a little bit more refined. The top-down one, it has a lot of power, but it's not super user-friendly.
Oh, really?
I have played around with it. You'll see a lot of hookups for it. So once you kind of figure it out, it's great. But I just like the simplicity of the Zeus that it offers. But the top Don is nice, and I think it was like $400 additional on top of the scan tool to get the scope.
Oh, no way.
We have some scope attachments, Roteki, something like that. I think it's a Ukrainian company, if I remember correctly. So scope stuff gets expensive, and since it's not something that I use a ton, I try to find something that's a little bit more budget. This is a pressure transducer, checks different pressures depending on where you hook it up in the engine.
Yeah.
I think this was $7.
$7?
Yeah, so like if you go on their website, they have all these scope attachments and they're affordable.
Okay.
And in my experience, they haven't been that bad. Like that,
Like the,
you know. So I have a couple different things from them. This is going to be for like secondary ignition, timing different things,
and so you've used them?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so far so good. The pressure transducer has definitely got the most use. Haven't been disappointed. Haven't really compared, but I've seen a couple of YouTube channels that do, and it seems to be pretty good. Just some amp clamps for the scope when needed, and then this is going to be a way to basically check ignition coils.
Okay.
You put this over the coil, and it'll tell you if it's firing.
It's like the inductive probe?
So this is just a inductive probe. Again, all very affordable stuff compared to what you'd probably normally see with like a pico scope or something like that. Just different scope leads, attachments, a couple of relays that I use to confirm faults. I actually have a different relay tester now, but these were back in the day. I had like a Matco relay tester switch that allowed you to on-off them.
Oh yeah.
And these were the two that I didn't have. So
okay.
They sit there. Power probe. This was back when I was in tech school. I love it when I need it. It's great. I don't use it a ton. I just find a multimeter to work better for me.
Okay.
So power probe's been great to me, and when you need to apply power to like roll up a window that's not getting power, it'll save you.
Yeah, these power probes, like, I didn't even know, like, they have so many functions that are kind of hidden inside the tool.
There's a lot to unpack. You know, I wouldn't say it replaces a multimeter, but it definitely has some capabilities to do so. If you're on a budget, maybe you only buy that.
Yeah.
This is going to be the old Subaru scan tool. These are discontinued, as far as I know.
Really?
So I keep it in my toolbox so that I can monitor it.
Nice.
Because the last thing we need is just to break. Because this Subaru, this is pretty much what only allows us to like program old modules and different things like that. So if we run out of these, we're gonna not be able to do certain things. So that stays there.
So what years does that cover?
Gosh, I think it was around 12-ish is when they kind of switched, and now they use SSM4, which uses the different cable there.
I see.
Below that is going to be a Mongoose. This is a Toyota tool, so you can hook it up to a laptop and have access to TIS. I'm sure it does other companies as well, but this was like for being a MDT. 1 year they gave you a diagnostic tool for Toyota. They said, here you go. So, so this is going to be just an amp clamp. And I don't know who makes it, but I won it from doing a dealer product report or a quality monitoring report. They're both the same thing. Subaru and Toyota call them different. But you get recognized and you can move up and like basically they do like, this month this technician created a report that helped us solve an issue at the factory. And so you can win some stuff. So basically it's like if we see a fault on a new car, we do a report. Basically, I found this is the diagnostic step that I took, and we send that off to Subaru. And the whole point of that is to improve the quality of Subaru. So if it leads to, you know, an improvement, a TSB, a recall, different things like that, you can get recognized for it.
Wow, that's neat.
Toyota, you know, I never experienced this personally, but I heard of some of those reports actually stopping the assembly line at a factory.
Wow.
I can't say if that's for sure, but I had been told that if it was a serious enough concern, Toyota is so committed to quality that they would stop the assembly line based on a technician report if it was important enough. So,
it makes sense. Like they probably save money, you know, stopping them.
Yeah, that's always been their approach. You know, do it right, quality first, and they really drilled it into their technicians that quality was a big deal. So
gotcha.
Always have a shot. And Subaru follows suit because Subaru and Toyota are very closely tied together as a company.
Yeah.
I believe that Toyota owns like 20% of Subaru, so
gotcha.
They definitely share a lot. This is going to be a breakout box. Just an Amazon find, but again, not something I use a ton. Gives a voltage readout, allows you to do CAN checks really quick. Also is a good plug-in, so if you wanted to confirm.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, just pretty simple. Again, not something that gets used too much with Subaru. But,
wait, so this makes it so you can still plug a scan tool into it? Okay, gotcha.
So you can work through it.
Nice.
So it's pretty nice.
Yeah, you mentioned the reports and stuff. Like I'm in the market for a new Tundra.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at all the new Tundras and stuff. And I hear all the horror stories about the new Tundras, and I'm like, man.
Yeah.
So now I'm on the market for like an older, like 2021 Tundra.
Yeah, I would just say, you know, with Toyota working for that brand, their commitment to quality, no matter what you hear in the news, the stories that we were told, the things that we were taught as technicians, I will always buy that company's product.
Really?
You know, maybe not that year of that Tundra until they have it resolved, but they are committed to their customers and making it better. So, you know, whatever happens to that company, I own 2 Toyotas myself.
That's awesome.
I believe in the brand, and I will continue to buy it.
That's cool. That means a lot coming from somebody that's actually worked there.
Yeah, and they build a lot of that quality into you, and that's transmits to everything I do.
Nice.
Long-term fixes. Try to take a problem, address it. This is going to be getting to some empty drawers. We have some brake tools over here. This was an early tool. One of the technicians that I used to work with wrote on here, "Happy Camper." It was one of his sayings. He used to borrow it all the time.
Okay.
I never bought one after years, so when I left, he signed that for me. So.
Nice.
This just allows you to spin back a caliper and apply pressure at the same time. So this is going to be a snap-on, very, very, very fine caliper, ratcheting caliper.
What?
The reason I have this is occasionally the ones down there aren't small enough.
Okay.
So especially if the caliper has been kind of overextended, maybe like the brake pad's been metal to metal.
Sure.
This will get you started. I think it's actually meant for motorcycles.
Oh, okay.
I use it occasionally when I need to. So.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. That's sweet.
There you go. I don't actually use those too much anymore. Those were mostly on Toyotas.
So what do you use?
It's going to be over in the roll cart.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah, we got more. So this is going to be a Milwaukee hole saw kit. Hitches. Occasionally you need to drill a hole.
Yeah.
So nothing special there. I believe I know what this is. Yeah. So for measuring rotor thickness, before we resurface any rotors, you want to make sure that they're measured to an acceptable limit because you're taking away material. Each manufacturer has a different thickness recommendation. So we don't always replace rotors. We try to save the customer money by resurfacing.
Okay. Do you guys like have an on-car lathe?
Yep.
Okay.
3 of them over there, all packed away. This is going to be a kit that I use for Toyotas, but basically it's just like an in-car bearing press kit.
Oh, okay.
Super cheap on Amazon. Never really did a ton of them, so never really felt the need to upgrade to anything else.
I gotcha.
Okay, so we have a little bit of overflow on some sockets. This is just going to be stuff that I have in my roll cart, but
what? That's awesome.
1/2-inch swivel extension, kind of similar to the same thing, just a 1/2 inch. I just like these. Again, it's a swivel and extension built in.
Yeah.
And yeah, been good to me. Works good.
They look beefy.
Yeah, they can
nice.
take their torque. This one is going to be an eBay find.
Ooh.
I think it was $50.
No way, $50.
So I'm always scouring. It's brand new.
It looks brand new.
Never used. This would be used for pulling crank pulleys, different pulleys off, or different pulling different things. Again, when you get into a situation, sometimes you got to get creative. So kits like this are really nice to have just around because you never know when you're going to need to pull something or press it. I guess we should probably start with the main set. But this is going to be ball joint press. Something I use more on Toyotas.
Okay.
But this was another eBay find. The guy had one broken piece, so I took it to my dealer and lifetime warranty on it after I bought it. And yeah, it's been good for me. This is going to be adapter set for Subaru control arm bushings.
Oh, really? Okay.
So back before we had a nice like hydraulic press, this would be a lot easier just to throw in a vise and swap those out.
Nice.
Inner tie rod tool. Occasionally when we would replace just the inner tie rods on power steering racks, not something that's super common anymore. tool you needed for it. I believe I bought this off the Mack truck.
So I'm curious, you say it's not common to use or replace inner tie rods?
No, usually it's just all steering racks now.
Really? Okay.
Obviously, the independent world might be doing it more cost effective, but for us, it's just the steering rack. Subaru actually, I'm pretty sure, doesn't sell most inner tie rod parts anymore.
Really?
Wow. They might just do a complete rack.
Huh.
I think that's kind of how more manufacturers are going, less repairs, more focusing on, just whole assemblies.
Huh.
Slide hammer set. This was, again, for doing wheel bearings, Toyotas and Subarus. Mack set, very common. They have a bunch of different types of them out there. I just bought this with the Mack because I wanted to have a lifetime warranty on it, just in case something broke. I did notice I had a cheaper $70 Amazon set at one point, and the metal was definitely different. Don't know how much that would lead to the durability, but after a couple of uses with it, I just switched to the better brand just in case I did beat it up. I wanted to make sure I had a warranty on it.
Yeah. Yeah, things that you really beat on, it's a good thing to have.
Last thing you want is that braking too when you're in the middle of it.
Okay, I know we're here, but what is that a ring?
Oh, yeah. So this is from the tech competition.
What? They give you a ring?
Yeah, there's a. Yeah, it's wild. So whenever I have an apprentice that asks a question, you got to have them put on the ring. This was the zone champion for Subaru. This is what they gave us at the con. Got my name on it.
That's so sweet.
And it's got some heft to it.
Oh my gosh.
It feels like a Super Bowl ring.
I don't know what that feels like, but I've had to guess.
I feel like maybe a Super Bowl ring would be a little bit heavier. I don't know if any of this is real.
Right.
It's been sitting on my desk ever since, so if it is, yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. Sorry, I didn't mean to take
No, you're good.
I'm just sitting here looking at this. Like, oh my gosh.
It's cool. It's a cool little thing. So since we're Subaru, I'm sure anyone that knows Subarus, Company 23, you have some special tools. This one was pretty cool. I actually got to demo one of their new products that they made. So I got to try this out on a head for them to make sure that the product worked.
No way.
Because I had I have a following with them on Instagram, and they were asking a technician that had a head to test it on. I was like, yeah, I'll try it. So they sent me this.
Oh, heck yeah.
I got a free tool out of it, and it works.
What does it do?
So basically, this is going to do valve springs.
Oh,
and
okay.
it will compress the valve spring. You bolt it up to the head, pushes it down, and it allows you to take the keepers out, replace the spring.
Nice.
They actually have an updated one of these for EJs that they just released. I don't know if it was from my input, but I had recommended to them that they add a spot here that allows you to do compressed air so that you could actually service it while the head's sitting on the vehicle.
Okay, yeah.
So maybe that input mattered or not.
Nice.
Maybe that was some other comment, but that was pretty cool that they let me be a part of that, and I got a free tool out of it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just some more Company 23 stuff. Rear main seal kit. The rear mains on Subarus, we don't have to do them a lot, but when we do replace them, they're terrible.
Oh, are they?
Like you line it up, pops out of place, pops out of place. This tool makes it easy.
Nice.
So I bought that one. They have another one, but the other one, for whatever reason, the older style, didn't have as much trouble, so I haven't really bought it. I can just usually get it with a hammer.
Nice.
These are going to be that's going to be the bolts for that, but these are going to be some different adapters for the holder here.
Look
So
at
this
that
is
thing.
going to, yeah, it's beefy. This is going to allow you to torque crank pulleys, also different cam actuators, holds different things. It's just a holding tool, but it's specifically built for Subaru.
Nice.
So it's got different adapters to do so.
That's
If you have any Subaru guys watching, I'm sure they know that. This is going to just be a cheap set of drum tools. Again, it's coming from Toyota. We mess with that occasionally.
Gotcha.
So not something that I spent a ton of money on. Amazon set. So probably one of the few green tools that I have.
Okay.
So special tool for Toyota, tensioner. Basically, these were kind of a pain to push down and like pin.
Oh, okay.
So this tool works by pushing on a pulley nearby that you can spin out with a wrench, and then it compresses it nice and slow for you. This little guy, a little C-clamp, is meant for building battery terminals. So
No
like
way.
if you've ever had to crimp one of the thicker cable ends, they have like these hammer-on things, right? But usually when you're doing a negative cable, it's usually the negative, it's a tight fit because like you don't have a ton of slack, at least
Gotcha.
on Toyota and Subaru. So it was nice to have this because on that little hammer tool, you had to like twist it, make it try to like fit into a tight spot.
Yeah.
This, you just cinch it down.
Oh, that's nice.
So this was kind of cool to have. I think it was a little expensive, but it made it way easier.
Yeah, it'd be a lot less violent than
than hitting a hammer
Right.
on something. Also, like, you know, sometimes the only option you had was to like use the battery or a piece of wood to base it off.
yeah.
So you really don't want to be hitting
like an airbox or something.
Yeah, exactly. These are going to be some Toyota Subaru special tools, basically AC lines.
Okay.
They use it to disengage. So you can use like tiny, tiny paper clips for these. But back when I was in tech school, my instructor just told me to buy because he's like, don't waste your time.
Really?
Because trying to get a pin that fits those two things and releases it all at once, it's like, you know, black magic. So these, you just clamp them on and they pop it open.
Huh. I'll have to look at that up.
You'll have to visually see it. But if you've seen this, then you know. This is for stretch belts. I used it once or twice. Usually you can get away with a pry bar. Personally, this one didn't really work too well on Toyotas or Subarus for me. But I gave it a shot. This is going to be some 3D printing that I did. These are going to be from a resin printer that I made to cover up some exhaust ports.
Oh,
Company 23 makes like a metal version, but I have a 3D printer and they have these available online, so I went ahead and printed it out. Axle seal installer, again 3D print, just makes it quick and easy.
Nice.
This is off-brand, not a Company 23. Sorry, Company 23. This was an Amazon kit that just basically allowed a cam to be locked in place. So when you took the timing belt off, it didn't jump.
Oh, gotcha.
Because it's like a loaded situation. Use this for spacing. There's a little metal piece above the belt around the crank on the Subarus. This gives you that perfect space amount to where you don't have to adjust. Because they have like a feeler gauge feel.
Yeah.
This is from an aftermarket kit.
Gotcha.
Nice to have.
That's like for timing belts.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Just
That's
to
bringing
give
back
you
memories. Like
I
recognize it.
It came back. Huh? This is going to be another 3D printed tool. I didn't make this, but one of the techs I used to work with, we had the brake light recall on Subarus, and the shop tool would always go missing because this basically sits up in the dash.
Oh.
God, yeah. So if you'd forget it a lot. So he ended up making quite a few of these, but I always kept this one just in case I needed to have it again, because occasionally we'll get old recalls.
So wait, what does that do?
So basically, it just holds a nut in place, and then you can feed the switch, which has threads, so it holds it in a locked position for you.
I see.
So you'd forget it often.
So it has to have the magnets.
It has to have the magnets to hold it up there.
Gotcha.
This was for fuel lines. We had fuel pump recalls on Toyota, and you'd have to get up there and get these plastic tabs pressed, and they're always dirty on the trucks. So this would just give you a little bit more leverage without like busting up your fingers. So these work pretty good. I was pretty happy with them. I don't use them too much anymore, but occasionally I'll bust them out on something that's really tight.
And so you mentioned tech school.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school at?
UCC, Umpqua Community College, very small tech school. Funny story about that. The T10 program I got accepted into, you were supposed to have 2 years of experience. I had never worked on cars at all. I actually just got into the industry by pure chance. Automotive had actually been ripped out of my high school the first year that I got into high school, but they had welding. So I took welding, drafting, woodworking, all of the programs around automotive. And then when I got to out of high school, I knew that I didn't want to be doing welding just because it seemed very repetitive, like a lot of the same. So there was what was called Oregon Grant, and I went to Umpqua Community College. I ran my finger down the technical program list there, and I saw the T10 program, and it just caught my eye, interested. And the only reason I got into T10 program there was because it was actually almost near like closed out. Like it was about to get scrubbed. And there's 3 students in my class. There was supposed to be around 20, but no one wanted to take it at the time, or they just couldn't really get the program up and running. So they took me, even though I didn't have the 2 years experience that was required. So I did a lot of catch up
Gotcha,
the first couple of years. But yeah, I got a lot of one-on-one attention there.
That's so awesome.
And that program isn't there any longer, which makes me sad, but it was a great experience for me. I had fantastic instructors. Everything that they taught me, I try to pass down to the different apprentices that I have now.
That's really cool. So you have apprentices working with you?
Yeah, I have only had one here, but in Oregon I had 3 to 4, maybe 5. They're in very condensed form near the end, but yeah, I've had the honor of teaching them, and they've taught me just as much. I think it really completes your learning process when you try to train somebody, because you get different questions that you'll never think of asking.
Sure, yeah.
And then you've got to, come up with a solution, or at least try to. So I've always learned just so much from teaching, and the automotive industry, as I'm sure you know and everybody knows, it's very negative. There's a lot of negativity around it, not saying it doesn't deserve it sometimes, but we need a lot of more positivity. We need technicians getting in this field, and I really enjoy my job. I've been very grateful to have a very lucrative career and allow me to do things in my life, and also I just have fun doing it. I really enjoy doing it, and so I want to pass that down to the next generation, and hopefully they can make the industry a little bit better altogether.
That's awesome. That's really cool to hear. I think I spoke with maybe one of your apprentices, and he said he was still in high school.
Yes.
And that is just amazing to be able to learn while you're still going to school. That's just...
It's pretty cool. He's definitely a unique individual. Most high school students probably don't have the same head on their shoulders as he does, but if someone wants to learn, I would love to teach him.
That's cool.
That's, of course. Especially at high school, he's going to go very far starting that early.
That's awesome. What was his name?
Corbin.
Corbin. Shout out Corbin.
So this one's an empty space. Once I added the locker here, I had this thing stuffed full, and then I was able to finally get some breathing room, because if I had just stuck to the lower box here, it was packed, and I couldn't keep anything locked up. There was a ton of stuff. So this is a room to grow.
Nice, yeah.
Nothing special, but TPMS or valve stem installer tool for wheels, and a battery cleaning set.
Nice.
So this is going to be the power drawer. I'll be honest, not the biggest fan of power drawers.
Really?
I think they're kind of a waste of space in the box, but I try to use it for what it is. I got all my chargers in one space, which is kind of nice. We got a jump box here, the top Don. I had a NOCO, and it lasted so many years and was definitely abused beyond what it should have been.
Yeah.
But it finally stopped. So I bought the top Don. It was reasonably priced, and I just wanted to try a different product just because they were about the same price at that point. Yeah. This one's been great.
Nice.
Started some things that I didn't think it would start, but did good. As far as power tools go, you'll kind of see that I'm all over the board. I used to be a Milwaukee only.
Okay.
I then kind of dipped my toe into some Snap-on, we'll see in the roll cart.
Okay.
And I actually tried out DeWalt as well, because for a long time I was just like Milwaukee. But I finally got to the point where it's like, okay, I'll try something else, because not everything is perfect, right? And there's always the best of some. So now I try to find for the right power tool. I don't try to stick to just one brand. If it fills a spot and it does it well,
nice,
I'll buy it. So I have I also have Mac and a rigid, but that's for a vacuum. That's up there. So, but Mac is also another one that I use. So power tools, I'm all over the place. Shout out to this little company in Oregon. That's not so little anymore. But Coast Lights. They are up in Portland, Oregon. This was my first light that I bought out of tech school. I've had them for 8 years. I've warranted it once. They're fantastic lights.
That's so cool. It has like the bike cap?
Yep, has a bike cap on it now. I don't really tend to use that anymore. I have headlamps somewhere around here. But yeah, this is as an inspection light. Like, it's not something I would recommend using all day because it does get warm. But just like quick pen light, they're reasonably priced, and they've never let me down.
Nice.
And they're from Oregon, so I gotta give them a shout out.
So that's not your go-to on a typical basis, or?
It's the one that sits in my pocket every day. So that one will be the one that I have on hand at all times.
Also, that's a huge M12 battery.
Oh yeah,
gosh, that's massive.
Here's this is going to be for the overhead lamps or light that's hanging up on the stall over there, because we have other lights over there.
Oh, okay. That's huge.
9-hour amp. Milwaukee doesn't make it. Milwaukee, if you're watching the video, just disregard this. But for the light, this works great because it the runtime is all day.
Oh, I bet.
Where the other Milwaukee batteries are really expensive, and they do work as well, but like for the price, I can't go wrong.
That's awesome.
This drawer is just going to be for different air tools and power tools. It's kind of nice to have in the toolbox. Now that I have space with the locker, it's great. Before, this was not here.
Gotcha.
Because this was storing all the cases that were in here. So I wouldn't have this if it wasn't for having the adequate space. But this one I've had for ages. Everyone knows that. That's the old Reliable out there.
Yeah.
Snap-on air tools. I like how this one feels. I don't use air too much anymore. I used a lot more when I was working on Toyotas, just because you would have those long extensions to get the transmission bolts. Air always worked really good for me.
Okay.
Heat gun.
Nice.
Not too bad. Nice that it's wireless. Drills, standard. There's a Mac tool for you. Again, it's just their version of I think it's a 12. I like them. They're not too bad.
Cool.
eBay finds. You can get them really cheap.
Nice.
They're not super popular, so you can find that stuff pretty cheap. Drills. And these, with Milwaukee, like I'll try new tools occasionally here and there. So as I switch to a different drill or switch up, I try to use the drill for something else, or I'll take it home or different things like that. Then we have a die grinder Milwaukee down there. Those are nice to have wireless. I don't really use it for like any cutting, but just like a quick tool that you need in a spot where you don't want to drag an air hose. It's nice to have. I think that's everything there. So I guess we'll go into the locker next. So it's a little dark, but yeah.
Man, you do have this full.
Like,
if this was in here, I can't even imagine.
No, it was basically like there was cases around the box when I first got here. And for me, I just really like having everything locked up, secured.
Sure.
So it drove me crazy. So like, I didn't really want to purchase right out of the gate a locker and a hutch, but like, man, it was good. So I guess I'll probably just pull this out so it'll be faster. I got this for free.
What?
A tech was throwing it away.
No way.
It's one of the detectors that detects the short in the circuit.
Okay, yeah.
So haven't used it, but it's there if I ever need it. And like I said, I kind of just like, if I see some value in a tool, I'll keep it. And
this is free, man.
Not bad. This is a snap-on roll cart. I figure I'll just show you really quick since I'm going to use it.
That's so nice.
It's pretty good. The one complaint, I will say, is the sliding top. So like I bought this under the impression that this would slide back and forth really easy. But you see how that just jammed up?
Yeah.
So it's got like a rib here that will catch on the bottom. So it does that on purpose to be like a locking mechanism, but that means every time I want to fully slide it. So that kind of annoyed me.
Yeah.
Like you can see how just
that's that'd be frustrating.
Yeah. So other than that, it's not bad.
It seems like it rolls really well.
It does roll really well, and it's a solid cart, but for the price, like the main thing I was going after was that sliding top, because I really wanted to store things under it and be able to open, close it quick, and it kind of let me down. And you can see it just doesn't work out as smooth. I talked to my Snap-on rep. Unfortunately, that is that is how it is.
It looks like you keep a brake bleeder down there?
Yeah, this is going to be what we use for brake bleeding. I also have a pressure bleeder over there, but for the standard brake service, vacuum works good. That's going to be washer fluid, nothing special.
Nice.
ASE Wave.
Whoa,
so
look at that.
This one's been out for a little bit now, but this is what I use to replace my Matco normal on-off relay tester. What this allows you to do is basically plug in to the system as a relay. Hooks up on the adapter back here. And then not only will it allow you to activate and become the relay, but it allows you to test different parts of the circuit at the same time.
No way.
So like, for example, a fuel pump, if you want to test the amperage of that circuit while doing this, amp clamp right around that loop, good to go.
That's sweet.
So this tool is pretty cool when it comes to the diagnostics. Haven't got to bust it out too much.
So are these banana leads or
yep, so that you can probe in to get voltage, ground, power, all the whole circuit can almost be tested right here.
That is awesome.
So that is a cool little tool, and it has a kit for pretty much every relay that you need. They do sell like special ones that you can buy.
Gotcha.
They also have a build it, so you can simulate a relay by building your own type of thing.
Man.
So very complete kit, was expensive, but I've used it a few times and it makes it very simple. Again, very visual, because when it comes to making the videos for our customers, I really like it to be like, here's what's going on in your car. So.
That's really cool. I feel like a lot of technicians don't go the extra mile like that.
I think when we're charging what we are at a dealership, like I'm going to do everything I can to make it simple enough to where I can explain it to you and you can also see that I'm telling you the truth. Here's what's going on in the circuit.
Sure.
So anything that I can do visually, and I will show my diagnostics in my video because I want them to know what they're paying for when they're paying diagnostic fees.
You're not just going like Identifix.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. Like that's not why we have all these tools. That's not why we're in this industry to just replace parts. Like, no, we want to test and diagnose, and you got to have the tools to do it.
Right. No hate against Identifix either.
No, no. I mean, it gives you an idea, but it should never be parts canon, right?
Exactly.
That's the last thing that we want because that gives us a bad reputation.
Right.
This is going to be a fuse saver. So when you have a fuse constantly blowing over and over, this basically simulates a different amperage fuse.
Oh, nice.
So that way you're not replacing a fuse every time it blows while you're tracking it down.
Yeah.
Not something to use every day, but again, just makes it really nice and that you're not blowing through fuses every time.
Yeah.
You can also add like a buzzer. So if you're like on the back end of the car and you're wiggling wires and it blows, you go boop and you know.
No way.
So kind of a cool little kit. Not something again that uses all the time, but
so does it buzz and then it'll stop when it's open, or
so it's a circuit breaker. It'll pop open. So when it pops open, it's going to buzz to let you know.
Oh, okay.
Now that fuse is blown, quote unquote. All right. ASC wave again. So like I said earlier down there, I used to have like a kit that I bought on Amazon that was like a pinout kit. This one is the best that I've found.
It's so complete. Look at that.
So this is going to allow you to front probe any connector safely without damaging it, not using a round pin on a square hole type of thing, right?
Yeah.
This alone is worth the price that you pay for it to be able to test things thoroughly and completely without damage. This is just all extras here. Not something I use too much. They have a couple fuse options, a couple of splits, wire piercers. I never touch these, would never be a fan.
Okay.
This is gonna be a simulator, resistance simulator. So if you wanted to, create a, I guess a load in the circuit or a resistance, that would allow you to do it. The other thing that's kind of cool about this is airbag resistors. So like when you're testing airbags, this will simulate an airbag in place.
Oh, really?
Because they have a certain resistance value. So I
Gotcha.
actually used this to simulate an airbag and was able to confirm that when the airbag was quote unquote replaced, putting this in place, that the code would go away.
Oh, man. It's so cool to see these, like the recommended tools that you use, especially when like you went to competitions. And did this. Like it's.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like when I went to that competition, I felt a little bit sad because I didn't have my tools.
Oh, okay.
Because they give you a standard set, and obviously I'm not going to load this up, right? But I didn't have stuff like this.
Oh,
like
okay.
they give you like a very bare bones setup, and I was like, man, I could be way faster if I had the stuff that I normally do.
Sure, yeah.
So honestly, it may have put me at a little bit of disadvantage because I'm kind of spoiled now with having the right tool for the right job. Mighty Vac.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
EGR testing, different things like that, whenever you need to provide a vacuum. It also is like an extractor. Never used it for that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, pretty standard. Another Amazon find. So when the heat gun, that the Milwaukee is not enough, when you really need to heat up some plastic or just heat something thoroughly, this is just an Amazon heat gun, adjustable temperatures, like 20, 30 bucks, I feel like.
No way.
Like I said, when I can get something cheap, I'll use it.
Yeah.
It gets really hot. So it does its job. I'm going to be building a wall here. I'm not going to see you here pretty soon. This is going to be a power supply, so for reflashing, different things like that.
Okay.
I bought my own just because in the dealership life, sometimes we don't have, especially when like a big recall comes out, everyone's doing a reflash. We only have so many maintainers. This allows me to maintain it safely. You don't want to go cheap on these because when you're reflashing, you can do a lot of damage to a computer. So
gotcha.
you want to make sure that you have the right thing to do it correctly.
That makes sense. I was going to ask, why can't you just like hook up like a battery charger?
So battery charger doesn't do a clean voltage is what they call it. So it needs to be very stable, no spikes, anything like that.
I see.
I'm sure that you could get away with it, but when it comes to a $500-600 $1,000 module, the last thing you want is to fry it by not having the right equipment. So this one's been pretty good to me. It's pretty simple. I like that it's small, compact, but also heavy duty enough to do the job. This is going to be my refrigerant tester. So when I came down to Texas, AC is kind of important.
Right.
Maybe not today, but we do a lot of AC leaks. So this is a Barack. I know not too much information about it. All I know is that when I first got here, every tech had one of these.
Really?
This is like the go-to. They're pretty pricey, but I got it used through one of the technicians that ended up going into a service manager. So, as far as refrigerant testers go, I don't like to rely on them solely. They're very, what I would say is spotty. You know, maybe I'm not using it correctly, but I use it to identify where I think a leak is going to come from, and then I'm going to use a light to see if I can actually see the residual oil from the system.
I see.
I would never replace a component just off of this because you will get like hits kind of intermittent. And when it comes to like thousands of dollars in components, like a V-Evap core, I really want to see oil.
I see.
Before I go in and replace something that's going to be so extensive.
Yeah, that's way different because I usually just see like the
sniffer hand. Yeah. This one's, I believe, sometimes used actually in the AC industry.
I see.
Like, so like houses and different things like that. But it works great. I definitely prefer it over those handheld sniffers. It definitely seems to be more accurate from what I can tell.
So if you do suspect a core leaking, how do you...
So basically we'll use this to kind of be like, okay, it's kind of pinging, getting close, and then we'll use a borescope.
Oh, borescope,
Scope up in there, and if I don't see it, I'll let the customer make the decision. I'll be like, listen, this is what I'm getting. I don't really see anything visually, but the last thing I want to do is waste your money. Like, I'll let you make that decision. If you want to keep until it's actually like leaking, we can go from there. Unless it's warranty, of course, and then we will take care of the customer. Over here is a straight edge. I was always taught that you want to hang them because they might warp if they're sitting flat. So I found a nice home for it right there. That's a Mac one. When it comes to like measurement tools, I try to buy a name brand, not something that I want to cheap out on, especially this, because this could lead to a replacement of a component. So if it's a little bit skewed, you know. So getting into gauges, all of these that I purchased from Snap-on are all going to be used. eBay, again, not something that I'm going to try to spend a ton of money on because I use them all the time. Nothing too special. It's just going to be their full master set. Again, long-term thinking is just shop. So buying as I go. As long as you're patient and not in a need of a tool right away, for anyone that's just kind of starting out, if you know that you want that tool, just go on eBay, kind of keep an eye out for it. And especially try to buy name brand, and with that lifetime warranty, as long as you have a guy that will take care of you, I mean, there's nothing better.
That's awesome.
A fuel pressure tester is going to be cylinder leak down testing. All the instructions.
Do you have to use that much here?
Yeah, so occasionally we'll use this on Subaru's head gaskets. For back in the day was a bigger thing. Most of the time now though, occasionally if it's a high mileage engine, this will kind of give me an idea whether it's a valve, piston, different thing like that. So most of the time you're going to use the compression tester and the cylinder leak down together because that's going to give you like the full picture of the engine health. Vacuum gauge. This is something I bought back when I had the tech school discount. It's an old tool. I've used it once or twice. It allows you to just pull vacuum on the engine. Again, kind of check for health. Again, it's just all about doing the diagnostics on the car. You want to make sure that you're right. Used it a few times in my career. I've always been taught by my mentors that if you use it 3 times, you buy it.
Time to buy, So it's kind of cool. They offer like the back probe, or not a back probe, but like a what do you call it? Back pressure.
Back pressure tester that you can screw into the exhaust.
That's kind of cool.
And I haven't even tried many of the Icon sets, so I don't know the quality on those. But again, when it comes to measurement on things, I prefer a little bit more of a name brand. But haven't used them, so I can't speak for sure. Transmission tester. So this is going to be for pressure testing under transmission.
Okay.
Also oil pressure, basically. Something that we can't really use anymore on Subarus, this gauge set, because it doesn't go high enough, because CVTs actually run at a higher pressure, but back with automatic transmissions and oil pressure, definitely something we can still use. I like to buy complete. I don't like they offer like the specific sets, but for me it's like if I'm going to spend the money, I want to make sure that it's the full thing. I don't want to have to buy again.
Right.
I've bought too many things twice in my career already.
Buy once, cry once.
Yeah. This is going to be a compression tester. Okay. This and the cylinder leak down are the ones that I use the most.
Gotcha.
Just again, general health diagnostics of an engine. I do sometimes switch to using scopes now for this, especially on Subarus. Getting this into the engines nowadays, they're very tight. So electrically is the easiest way, but I still trust this more than a electrical.
You say it's easier for the...
So like to install this basically on the Subarus, you have to get the spark plugs.
Right.
And since Subarus are boxers, they sit right up against the subframe, so sometimes getting this in can be a little tight. So what we use is one of those amp clamps tied with a lab scope and perform a relative compression test.
Oh, okay, I see.
And it allows you to basically get a ballpark.
I see.
So a little bit easier than using this.
Yeah, I thought you were talking like putting like a pressure transducer into the...
You can also do that, but I usually just go around the starter amp clamp. I feel like that gives you this a pretty good picture.
Sure.
Pressure transducer probably does a little bit better, but again, now you're going into the cylinder, so you're basically doing the same thing.
Right.
So it's
That's why I was like, how's that easier?
How is that easier? Yep. Front end service kit, Mac Tools. I did buy one of these on Amazon. At one point, they were cheaper. Again, the metal quality was the biggest thing. The one I bought on Amazon, I think broke one of these pieces. So then I said, okay, I need to switch up to a heavier duty kit and buy a name brand. That's kind of how the way I do things. I'll buy cheap first, and if I think can get away with it, basically, because I don't use it a ton, and then I'll step up if I find that it's not going to cut it. So that's what happened here.
Yeah, I think that's twofold, because like number one, whatever takes a beating, it's always good to have the lifetime warranty.
Yep.
But also number two, man, you get those things like really tight joints and your face is like right there.
You don't want this breaking.
No, it explode in your face.
You don't want this breaking. So here's something that's probably never going to use again. This is going to be for wheel bearing packing really old trucks on Toyota. The great thing about working for Toyota, or good and bad, you'd see these old trucks, 70s. Like we had a tech at my last shop, and he had been working there 30, probably 40 years now. He would PDI, which is a pre-delivery service, some of the vehicles that would come back to him 30 years later.
What?
So like just think about that. You see a car brand new off the assembly line, and you're working on it 30 years later.
Wow.
And that's just like I said with Toyota, the brand, the reliability. That right there will always stick with me.
That's crazy.
So this is for wheel bearing packing, makes it a little less messy. I'm really big about keeping clean, so that allows you to do that.
Maybe when you get a trailer someday.
True, I guess that would be a trailer. Here's a cheapie. This is going to be combustion leak down tester.
Oh, okay.
I don't use this again to be like, yes, that is a head gasket leak. We're selling you that. This is a step.
Okay.
Quick, easy. If it fails this test, that tells me most likely it's a really bad head gasket leak, because I've had the fluid here will change color. Basically, you put this over the radiator, squeeze it, and it detects the combustion gas. And if it does change color, that's a really bad leak. I've had some minor ones that this won't pick up.
Gotcha.
So this is kind of just like a first step. Again, very visual for the customer. So it's a great, maybe we need to spend some more money in diagnostics to see what's going on.
Gotcha, yeah. And I've heard that the fluid, I don't know how true it is, but I've heard the fluid in there, it only lasts like a year or so.
Oh, I have not heard that. So
yeah, just maybe, like FYI, I don't know if anybody listening, just if you have like a bunch of old fluid, maybe consider getting some old.
I don't use this too often, so that is probably 100% the case. Charger, maintainer, and so I have the other one on there for reflashing. This isn't meant for that. Anytime you do electrical diagnostics, you want to make sure that the battery is brought up to the proper level. So you can use a stable power supply, but I prefer this just because this will also do a charge plus stable power supply. And it's also very convenient because it will hook on above it, cords unwrap, you plug it in, and then I can just do my electrical testing, not worry about the battery.
Nice.
So it's not as a heavy duty as that other one, but it's also way more convenient, and it's just, I can forget about it, plug it in.
Oh, that's sweet. I like how low profile those are.
Yeah, it's just really, you know, I probably didn't need this one since I have that, but I just prefer this so much more over that for just the quick hookup type of thing. Shout out to this little company. Have you seen it?
What's that?
So this is a smoke tester.
That little thing
I
is?
found on Amazon. I think it was $200. It's a company out in California. I think the guy is a technician himself. And so he created this little product here. So smoke testers, if you don't know, they're normally thousands of dollars. They're getting them cheaper, but this being at $200 is kind of a steal. Works great. So plug it in, play.
That.
And for what I need, I don't need a smoke tester a ton. This works great. Pressure testing allows me to do it. It's also got this kind of cool little feature.
Oh, wow.
So it won't tip over or anything like that.
Yeah, it shuts off too. That's wow.
It's just super simple. It plugs and charges with the USB. I don't know the owner's name, but I did have a warranty issue with mine. He took care of me.
No way.
No questions asked. And so big shout out to him. So far, this product has been great. The one warranty issue that I had with it leaking, he took care of it. No questions asked.
That's awesome.
I think it's got a pretty good warranty on it too, if I'm not mistaken. And then let me find plug kits somewhere in here. We'll probably get to it later. Oh, here. So plug kits that come with it.
That all comes with it?
Yep.
No way.
So you get a full kit there.
That's
and then
sweet.
The other kind of cool thing, this is a bladder. So if you wanted to pressure or intake smoke,
yeah.
that allows you to fill it up, and then you can run your smoke.
Does that come with it too?
I think this is an additional add-on.
Oh, okay.
But
gotcha.
when you smoke testing like an intake, awesome.
Yeah, this even has like an airflow gauge too. That's sweet.
Yep. So like I said, it fully replaces needing it. It's also very small, which is nice for storage because I really don't want anything bigger than what I already got. Amazon find, Black Friday. Teslong makes some awesome scopes.
Right, yeah.
This one is my favorite. I think it's meant for maybe plumbing, but this is
Oh, that's awesome.
So the big thing on this is whenever the evap core is kind of like what we were talking about earlier, this allows you to kind of guide in as you're going. But the main thing is in engines, you can stab this in the cylinder, flip it, and look at the valves
That's
from
awesome.
the cylinder side.
Wait, so can you do all different?
Yep. So it's just
Look at that.
you do kind of have to warm it up a little bit before it like will full bend, but it does complete like a complete bend in there, like so.
But like you can go in circles.
Oh yeah.
That's so sick.
So this was good. I think it was pretty expensive, like $500-600, but I caught it on a Black Friday deal for cheap on Amazon.
That's so cool.
Has been great. Yeah. Probably a little bit overkill for 90% of things, but when it comes to those engine diagnostics, again, very visual, and I can actually see, it's a very clear picture, and I can do that flip with the camera, and I can see the valve face, which is awesome, because you're not really normally able to see.
Yeah.
So carbon buildup, different things like that. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I have one, but it's not, or I have one, but it's not, like it doesn't go around.
the full
like,
deck.
It just goes,
Yeah, sometimes they have the little partial, but like I said, the second I saw that it could flip, that was a big selling point.
That's
for
awesome.
me. Japanese made, I believe. I try to buy Japanese because I work on a lot of Japanese cars.
Whoa.
This is going to be a seal installer kit, specifically kind of for like the old timing belt engines. It is a puller and also just a cup installer. So basically you would set this up however you want, and then you would take a bolt, usually the bolt for the cam, and then you can put the seal on this side and it will install it to the exact height.
No way.
This was another Amazon find. I think I bought it, that big wrench that I had in there for that Toyota. That the seal was always a pain in the butt to replace because you had no room to get a hammer in there.
Oh, gotcha.
So this allowed you to do that and have a full kit to do it.
Man, and this is, so this just goes into like the lip of the seal.
That will keep the literally. I haven't used these too much. I mostly used this, but
Gotcha.
it saved you your bacon.
Oh, that would come in handy.
Yes, it's definitely one of those things. So this goes back to when you buy something, buy complete. Definitely overkill for a dealer technician. This was a complete pressure tester.
Oh, geez.
So I wanted, if I was going to buy an adapter set, to have everything that I'd ever need. This is a snap-on, so it is in a Mac case, but it's a snap-on set, and these are, I believe, snap-on adapters. I went with the plastic because I couldn't really understand wanting the metal for so much more money.
Yeah.
Plastic seems to be working great. I do love the air pressure on this. So this isn't a manual pump. You just plug it in, set your gauge, unchuck it from the air. It's easy.
Yeah.
So that's been nice. I love vacuum filling. I really don't like to manually bleed, especially like modern day cars. Like they have all these coolant passages, electronics involved in it. Vacuum bleed is the only way that I do it.
Wait, so that will help you vacuum?
So this will vacuum test if you wanted to pressure test, but also if you want to vacuum fill, you need to have an adapter on the cooling system, which I have over there, that will allow you to vacuum the system and then fill it with coolant.
Oh, I see.
So no air. So you need the adapter set for pressure testing and that.
Ah, I see. Okay.
This is the famous oh shit drawer.
Okay.
I actually had to bust this open a couple days ago, so there's some stuff sitting out. I melted the tip. I had a drill bit snap off in the exhaust, and so that was a fun couple hours. The whole point of this drawer is to never open it, but you need it when you need it.
Right. So this is like a tiny...
So this is a pencil grinder. This is great for, I used it on hitches, but also like when you have those finite situations where you need to kind of like finesse a cut. That works great. It was a diamond bit, but that thing got hot.
Really?
I wasn't using it for what it's intended. This is that's that Mac set. So it comes with a complete thing, but I just had it out because I need to replace the tip on it.
Gotcha, okay.
Rethreading kit. So this is going to be like the half measure in between a full tap.
Okay.
Left hand drill bit set.
Oh, yeah.
I've used it a few times in the career. Not something you want to bust out too often, but when you need it, you need it. Has saved me a couple of times on screws.
Okay.
Not necessarily bolts or anything like that. I don't know how it would hold up, but screws, sometimes just enough to get it. This is something I bought back in tech school. If you're going to buy an impact driver set, this one is definitely the one I'd go for. It's complete. It's got everything. It's got Allens. It also has replacement bits, so if you break them, it's probably very expensive nowadays. It looks very expensive. You can definitely get away with cheaper, but if you're like an actual mechanic and you're doing this as a day and you're going to buy one, just go big, go home, get it done, and cry about it later, right? I have broken this once.
What?
It's lifetime warranty.
How did you break that thing?
Hammers. Don't remember the situation, but I did break it. So this is another eBay find. Oh, gosh. $100, $150.
No kidding.
Like I said, so it has lifetime warranty. I'm not worried about it. The condition. This is going to be SAE and metric. Like I said, if you're looking on eBay and shopping around and smart about it, you can usually catch some really good deals. Okay. It's dirty, but it doesn't matter. Another Amazon find. Thread checker.
Awesome.
Makes it quick and easy to know. Don't like to guess.
Yeah.
Tap sockets, big tap sockets.
Jeez,
I actually ran into this set not having one for that.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, gotta buy. Amazon, don't know the brand.
I like that 3D printed thing. Is that 3D printed?
No, I don't. Oh, this right here?
Yeah.
No, it's kind of rubber.
Oh, it is, okay.
I don't know. It was an Amazon brand.
Oh.
I don't know if they're still around, but it is a nice holder.
Yeah.
Rivet gun, not something I use a ton, but when you need it, you need it. Another eBay find here. This was a brand new set, and I think it was half off. So scooped it up. Haven't used it yet. I bought this, which is not the biggest fan of these. I think these are Baco made, snap-on. These are okay. I definitely prefer the bigger ones. I just haven't had a need for a file yet, luckily. This was my original metric only tap set. Did me good.
Okay. I
did have this guy break on me, and they are back ordered for eternity apparently. So that was a little unfortunate, but I ended up getting that one not too long after that. I'm sure you've seen plenty of these Matco Hyper Steps.
Oh yeah.
They do the job well. They are not warrantable down here on these smaller rows, so I try not to use those. As you can see, like I said last week, was not fun, so I had to bust out a couple of those. They did break on me, but they work pretty good. This is my drill bit set that I use a lot of because these are all lifetime warranty.
Oh, I see.
You buy once, cry once, and then so all these are lifetime, and you can warranty them out as many times as you want. So
Nice.
this is like my go-to set that I'll bust up first before I go to the
Nice.
hyper steps.
Do those cut about the same, or?
I would say they cut pretty good. The hyper steps are nice because they just center you constantly. Where these, if you're not careful, you can kind of walk. And when you're in like a tight spot, sometimes the angles.
Oh,
a little
gotcha.
bit. Sometimes you can't drill a straight hole. This is going to be a axle nut spindle rethreading kit. Toyota's, if you didn't fully unstake the nut, it would actually damage the threads.
Really?
So sometimes, no matter what you did, you just couldn't get it fully unstaked. This would allow you to rethread it really quick. This set, funny story again, I had to bust this out last week. I bought this back when I was a tech apprentice. My first mentor at the time told me to buy it under my student discount. He said, you know, you need to buy these, you're going to use them.
Okay.
I did not use them until this last week.
Really?
And they were very expensive at the time. Like, it was a sizable. I actually sent him a text message though, because when I snapped the drill bit off, this is the only thing that worked.
That's it, huh?
And I told him, I sent him a text. I was like, I don't know if you remember, but like, you told me to buy these. I never used them until then, but that's the only thing that saved me saved out. So definitely worth the money. The only thing is they're not lifetime warranty.
Oh, okay.
So it killed me. I was a little bit sad, but that definitely worked good. This is an Amazon find, stud remover installer kit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just occasionally when you have a new stud to put on, that'll make it easy to do.
Nice. That's similar to like the Snap-on setup.
Yes, they rebrand that one, I'm pretty sure.
Gotcha, okay.
So I found the company that they actually make.
Oh, so legit, that could be.
I believe this is where they're
okay.
made. I think if you do a little bit of digging, you can
Gotcha.
usually find, if it's not USA made, you can assume that it's going to be somewhere
okay.
else. So
That makes sense.
You just got to find the right part number.
Gotcha. Did you get that guy off the truck though?
Yeah, so he has been with me for quite some time now, my old Snap-on dealer. Got him with some kind of BOGO, but funny story about him is he's been in all of my videos in some way or another, podcasts and different things like that I've done for the industry. So I try to sneak him into every video or put him up there. I landed an article in Automotive News not too long ago, and if you just caught the bottom of it, he's in there. So yeah, that's my little gnome. His name is Frank. One of the technicians named him at my last shop, but he's with me wherever I go.
That's cool. So you do a lot of podcasts and stuff?
Yeah, so I've spent quite a few times with Wrenchway, Jake and Innan, and working with that company. I was a service quality specialist with Toyota, which basically meant recruiting and training technicians. So I ended up getting involved with that podcast, just talking about my experience in the industry. I like to be open, honest. Like I said, there's a lot of negativity, so any positivity that I can bring into the light, I try to. But I've really enjoyed doing the podcasts with him, and I have one in progress with Joshua Taylor at Wrench Turners. And I just try to put myself out there in the automotive industry to, hopefully change it for the better, train the next generation up. Because when I started, there's just a lot of negativity. People don't want to share the trade. They don't want to promote it. But like I said, it's provided so much for me. I really enjoy my job. It's stressful. It's chaotic at times, but it's very rewarding, and I get to play with tools all day long.
Yeah, right? That's so cool to know you do that, because it seriously breaks my heart when I hear these younger guys and they're like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And I'm like, oh, you just...
Yeah, it's stressful. And like I said, there's a lot to it, and it doesn't come without hard work. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not all earned in a day, and it's not all going to change in a day either. But the way we change it is by bringing awareness out there, training, growing, and teaching the right way along. And so anything I can do to help move it in that direction, that's what I'm here for.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
All right, so the next drawer here is going to be measurement kind of tools.
Okay.
So again, we're going to find some Amazon. Again, with measurement, I try to find a name-ish brand. These aren't like Snap-on or anything, but when it comes to measurement tools, they have a pretty good reputation, so I did a lot of research online.
Okay.
Something I found on Amazon, a nice little set, dial indicator.
Yeah.
Testing rotors, movement and ball joints occasionally. Pretty rare that I have to bust it out, but it's something I just wanted to have. This is going to be a digital caliper, extra long, because we have to do a transfer clutch repair on transmissions. Basically, if you have a Subaru and you're experiencing binding side to side when you're turning or heavy turning, the transfer clutch is binding. And so when we replace them, we have to remeasure and adjust the shim because we replace the whole housing assembly.
Oh, I see.
So this, being extra long, allows you to get the right depth on it.
Awesome.
So, another just normal dial indicator. Again, Amazon, but found something reputable that I saw had a good reputation.
Yeah.
Hasn't steered me wrong so far. Feeler gauges. This is something that I do go with Snap-on on. This set is super cool. We do a lot of valve adjustments with Subarus. They're not something that you do like a manual turning adjustment anymore. It's shims, and I'll show you in the box over there once we get there. We have these little valve shims, so anytime we do an engine, take it apart, if there's a valve out of adjustment, they'll take care of it.
Oh, okay.
So
nice.
This set's really nice. My favorite being these. They're steps.
Oh, okay.
So it makes it really quick and easy to gauge where a valve shim is at without busting out multiple feeler
That's
gauge.
awesome.
So you just kind of slide it in. If it hits there or it doesn't, then you know where to go. Alignments, radar calibrations, different things like that. We have to make sure that the vehicle is aligned straight when we're using a chart setup to program the cameras on the vehicle.
Okay.
So this is just a laser setup to make sure that everything's lining up straight. And it has a little stand down here to hook up differently, and then a target. And the whole point of it is basically you're going to put this behind the vehicle and shoot it through the straight front of the vehicle, so it gets you the angle at which that vehicle's sitting on the floor.
Oh, wow.
That way the chart is dead squared with how the vehicle's tilted left or right.
Okay.
This is going to be just a little angle measurement gauge. So with again, radar, all the systems. Blind spot monitoring is the one that comes to mind. Also, the backup sensors that you'll see on vehicles nowadays.
Gotcha.
You got to make sure that they're sitting at the proper angle. So when the vehicle gets in a collision or anything like that, we always use this to check what the angle of that sensor is, because it might skew how it works if it's not at the right angle.
Gotcha.
So you just slap that on there, and it'll read out the angle for you.
Oh, that makes sense.
This was another Mentor feeler gauge set, and you can see they definitely got some more. This is going to be for the older engines, but he always loved these really long ones just because you could get them in a tight spot. So he passed those down to me. This is going to be kind of a weird tool for, I think it's meant for Hondas, but it also works on the older Subarus. Basically allows you to hold the adjustment nut and then turn it at the same time.
Nice, yeah.
All in one action. We already saw some of the plugs there. This is going to be a different Snap-on feeler gauge set. This set does not go low enough for some of the newer engines.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I had to actually buy a new set here.
Ah, okay. Can you use these handles with this?
Yes, you just had to take them out. So,
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So this piece of paper allows you to see through the back of a wheel bearing hub.
Oh, okay.
And this allows you to see the magnets that are inside of it. So when I have a ABS code going on or a speed sensor code, I put this on the back, and I actually had one recently that I bought this for that allowed me to see the sensor was out of place.
Oh,
so
really?
it actually had internal failure.
Wow.
Again, a visual representation so that I can justify a replacement of a $400 or $500 part.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, that has just like metal particles inside of it?
I don't know how it works. This will probably tell you. But no, basically you just slap this on here and it's going to show you the inside, because it can see the magnets that are inside the hub, how it uses it. This is just, again, a visual, something that I can put in a video to a customer that really shows them like, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
$5 on Amazon. I think they have like an official kit, like a Blue Point one, but it was like $50. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I've heard a lot of guys use that before they put a new bearing on, just to make sure that it has,
Luckily, we don't have too many bad bearings,
okay.
but if I was using an aftermarket one, I'd probably throw that on there for sure. Just an antifreeze tester.
Nice.
Never used it. Usually when coolant's bad, it's bad.
Right,
Like you can usually tell. But yeah, this would allow us to test coolant if we needed to.
Nice.
And then finally, just another ADAS tool is a plumb bob. This allows you to drop a straight line down on the vehicle. So you use this, and then you put the laser down. That's how you get the straightness of the vehicle. Because you'll put it in the center. Usually the license plate is what we'll go off of.
Okay.
So we're down to air tools now. Yeah, there's a couple to go over here. I do have some Snap-ons for like the stuff that I'm going to use the most. Those are going to be like cleaning supplies, different things like that.
Okay.
I really like those comfort grips. They're nice long-term use. Your hand doesn't get super cold from the air going through.
Oh, right.
The metal ones will get a little bit chilly.
I know what you're
so when
saying,
you're cleaning an engine for a couple of hours sometimes, like you're like, okay, I guess it's getting cold. The Mac ones are great for tight spaces. Okay. I really like the small and compact. They also had like BOGO deals pretty frequently, so I was able to pick up a lot of those.
Nice.
Air saw, this is a offer up find, I think, for $100. Nice. So I got a air saw there, and it came with a free cutoff wheel as well. So that was a score. Used that a couple of times with like a Diablo blade on a rusty car.
Gotcha.
I'm sure this is famous.
Big Bertha right there.
Big Bertha. I don't have to use this too much, thankfully. It is everything that people say it is.
Yeah.
I recently bought it, and I had a stuck wheel bearing. It worked.
You know, for how awesome those are, that's the first one I've seen.
Really?
Ever. Like, that's it. That's the first one I've seen in anybody's
That's weird.
box.
Yeah, I mean, the Snap-on one that I have, it works fantastic for everything. But like that, we'll get it out. And sometimes that's what you need. Yeah, so here's a kind of cool one. This was in that combo package as well. Just a little mini air ratchet.
Nice.
It was just kind of fun to play around with. Not really a purpose anymore, but yeah, it was kind of cute. This one was one that I bought pretty early on. It's really nice because it allowed you to switch.
What?
I don't know if they make them anymore.
That's cool.
But I used to do Subaru spark plugs with this. Now that the electric ratchets are so good, you don't really need these anymore, but this would be what you could kind of switch out of the way.
Wow.
And then it's also a very thin profile head. So this was my go-to for many years.
Oh, that's cool.
Something that doesn't get used too much anymore, those air tools. So
Gotcha.
Except for cleaning, it's still my go-to.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have some more kind of specialty use stuff. Injector seal kits. So on new direct injections, you have to size them. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but basically the seal is a Teflon seal, very, very tight. And if you scratch it, obviously you have a lot of pressure with direct injection. So it's not something that you can screw up installing. But basically it's too small, and then you have to use this spacer cup to slide the seal over, space it out, and then you use one of these to shrink it back down.
Okay.
So it's kind of a pain, but this kit definitely makes it easy. We have them on Subarus. And so basically once you oversize it, then you shrink it back down.
Oh, awesome.
So I was a Supra specialist at my shop when they released that product through Toyota.
Okay.
So this is just to do the tires on and off. It was always a pain for me coming from Toyota, which never had the studless brand.
Yeah.
Switching to this just made it way easier to hang those tires.
Gotcha.
Plus, I did not want to scratch up a wheel or
Right.
anything. Like, that's the last car you want to do it on. So I bought that back when I was working on those. Standard Amazon and injector set. Had that for years. This is a ethanol testing kit.
Oh, okay.
Something I bought on Amazon, just allows me to test the gas, make sure it doesn't have too much water or anything like that in it.
And sorry, the other thing, you said you mentioned you're a super specialist?
Yeah, so if you look on the corner of the box over there, I have that little magnet, but basically there was
Supra.
Yes.
I thought you said super. Okay, that makes okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so Supra for Toyota, since it was a BMW Toyota hybrid cross training, we had to go to special training to learn how to kind of work on them.
Oh, okay.
Because they were so much BMW, like everyone talks about online. So we got to learn all about the product. It was an awesome class, and I learned a lot. And
that's cool.
It's a fun car to work on. It definitely has a lot of Beamer in it, but Toyota's like a growing company. So like whenever they partner with somebody like that, they're trying to learn. You'll actually see a lot of what they learned from the Supra kind of trickling into their products nowadays. So
That's
like they changed
cool.
their coolant design to kind of match a BMW.
Really?
So they learn by partnering, building cars. Like they built the BRZ with Subaru, they built the Yaris with Mazda. So they learned how they did things and then took the best and left everything else behind.
That's really neat.
And the one thing that the Supra has that I think that they did with BMW was that they really made BMW have higher quality.
Really?
We heard and I don't know if this is true, but the Supra was supposed to be released many, many years earlier, but it was actually, what we got told was it got delayed because it wasn't, BMW was producing this engine and it wasn't living up to the standards and quality that Toyota requested. Oh. So they keep sending it back to the drawing board.
Wow.
Don't know if that's true. That's what I heard.
That's crazy.
Could just be all the region talk. So this is going to be a little bit bigger or nicer set for different fuel disconnects and everything like that. Here might be a good one. So this is going to be for Toyota sealant. They have the tube sealant, and this is a tube grip. So it allows you to actually not have to use your hands to roll it. It allows you to kind of use a grip
That's
action.
awesome.
So when you're doing a lot of reseals with Toyota, you put this in there and it slowly squeezes the tube out.
That's
Makes
cool.
a nice uniform pattern. Don't use it anymore for Subaru because they use a caulk gun setup.
Oh, gotcha.
But this for Toyota. Buy it, please. Save your hands.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, it'd be more uniform. Like
Yeah, it's a lot more control. Just a standard magnetic, listening.
What's that? Yeah, is that?
This right here? Yeah, just a magnet. So it allows you to set it on.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know they had that.
Yep, somewhere on Amazon.
Whoa, huh.
So that's kind of nice, just so you can like forget about it, not have to hold it there. This is an old one. This will allow you to hold pulleys.
Okay.
So if you don't have like the proper special tool, this allows you to grip onto it.
Nice.
Pretty nice. This was before I had the Company 23.
Okay.
What I used to hold the cams.
Gotcha.
And it works pretty good. The reason I only have one of these though is that it ended up breaking.
Oh no.
And this is like an OTC. It was pretty cheap on Amazon, so that's when I stepped up to the Company 23.
Yeah, the Company 23 looks way more stout.
Way more stout. Yeah, exactly. So that got me by, but again, like buy cheap, then upgrade when you need to.
Nice.
What I got over here is just some basic fluids, nothing special, some Worth products. Maybe you haven't seen this one before. This is a temp gauge with snap-on. It does an interior and exterior comparison.
Oh, really?
So it tells the temperature on the outside of this device, and then wherever you put the probe, it will compare the two.
Oh, okay.
So you can set this on the outside of the vehicle, put the probe in the AC, and you can do a comparison on how much the difference is.
Huh, nice. Wow, a lot going on in there.
I try to stuff it full. I try to use it to its full potential.
Yeah, you definitely needed that because there's like,
I'm telling you, man, it was wild, and it was just like, I have to do this. So, yeah.
Man. You got your cart here?
Yeah, I think we're finally ready to go into the cart.
It is I say this a lot, but that thing is huge.
I'm 6'3", and so it's a little tall for me. I'm not gonna lie. The depth, which maybe you want to show, but it is deep. It's 24 inches deep. This thing is huge.
Man.
I think they came out with this product this year. So when I moved down here, I knew that the bottom box wasn't going to be enough to store all my stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
So my alternative was like, okay, I'll get a roll cart to kind of subsidize until I can get the locker, get the hutch, and everything like that. So this and the lower box held all of what you're seeing spread out. And without this, there's no way I would have fit it.
No way.
So starting off with the top, I have these magnetic mats.
Okay.
I use them for exactly what they're doing here.
Nice.
As I'm working on a car, I like to stick them. I think this came from the Mercedes-Benz MasterTech, Dr. AMG.
Okay.
I watched him do that. Love it.
Nice.
So all of these, this is going to be that Macto swivel. Like I said, these are like my go-to, my daily, tied with my Mac
Oh, yeah.
bit driver. I really like this one because it's light. The Milwaukee's really heavy. It's got more power, but for the most part, when I'm using this, I'm not looking for power. I'm looking for just convenience, pretty small profile. So
Yeah.
those are going to be my daily
I like your
hangers.
hangers, yeah.
So Gator magnets, pretty expensive, but they allow you to organize and keep those impacts on the side as long as you trust your coworkers.
Oh, sure, yeah,
of course. But it allows me to hang some stuff in these bigger items, and also it's just a quicker grab because I don't have to open and close so much.
So this is like all your go-to stuff, right?
Yep,
here.
this is going to be what I work out of. So when I have an engine job over there, I'm not having to walk back and forth to the box.
Okay.
The whole point of the roll cart is to keep everything that I can work out of on a daily basis here.
Gotcha. Man, it is so deep in here. Like, this is like a foot.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is super deep. I think it's meant for impacts being able to stand them up. I think that's kind of what they
yeah.
showed
Okay.
initially. For me, like I said, I have them hanging out on the side, which allows me a lot more space up here.
Gotcha, yeah.
What I really like is that the pry bars can all fit.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Screwdrivers, that's pretty standard on some of the Snap-ons, but I think this is just a little bit deeper, and also the double row is pretty convenient as well. Okay, so more sockets. These are going to be all the daily use. Anything that was missing out of the main box, this is where they're going to come from. So basically 10, 12, 14, 17, 19. That's what we're going to use.
Gotcha.
Half inch, we go up to 24, so 21, 22. Other than that, for Subarus and most of the Toyotas, that was pretty much all I needed.
Gotcha.
So all the other socket variants that you're going to see are just going to be different sizes. I do use impact versus chrome. Whenever I torque something, I'm always going to use a chrome socket, because an impact, the whole point of the impact socket is that it kind of wobbles out and softer blow, so it's not damaging the impact gun that you're using.
I see.
So when you're torquing, the last thing you want is this to slip.
Oh, right.
So I always try to switch to chrome when I can to torque things.
Gotcha. Let me, I'm going to go all the way around, because this is like, it's so, I hate saying that it's so tall, but like, 'cause it's kind of cool, but.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is way better.
Okay. So yeah, we have just the 3/8, quarter, and half inch. Some kind of unique things in here, or not so unique, but these are what I use to get into Subaru spark plugs.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'll actually show you guys the trick that I get to get all Subaru spark plugs out without removing motor mounts and jacking up the engine.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a wobbly plus locking extension with Subaru.
Okay.
You put that on there. Now you have to use this size. There are different sizes of spark plug. You can see that this is just a little bit longer.
Okay.
So this allows you just enough clearance, but not too long to where it doesn't fit into the tight spot when you're going in.
Huh.
But that extra little wobble there allows me to get a ratchet in to get the spark plug replaced.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I found this setup works best. It's been a lot of trial and error. But when it comes to flat rate and repairs, you want to try to find the best way.
Yeah.
This is an expensive setup, but it does work. If you're having trouble with clearance, which we'll get to all these extensions later, this is the other setup that I sometimes will use. So this is going to be a wobble plus locking extension quarter drive, which is going to be a lot thinner, adapter, and then the spark plug socket.
Oh, nice.
So that's even tighter, and you can see it just gives me that little bit of extra pump. So spark plugs, Subarus, you can do it that way.
Yeah, even if it's more expensive, like it'll make its money back.
When you're doing them a lot. Like obviously if you're at home, this set's probably a little expensive, but it is something that you can do. So you're going to see different rails here of just e-Torx. I don't know if you caught in the main box over there. I have e-Torx Plus.
Oh, okay.
So this is just a standard Torx set. The e-Torx Plus, let me go grab them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the difference being it's flatter.
Gotcha.
And so when, specifically on Subarus, we have this size socket, which is meant for the cam sprockets. They use this design. If you try to use one of those, occasionally it'll slip.
Oh.
And it'll round it out. So you want to use the proper socket. Company 23 sells one. I have a snap-on set because when occasionally, back in the day when I used to split the cases on Subarus, the crank bolts were also these style.
Oh.
So I have the full set just in case.
Nice.
But there is a difference. So if you're not careful and you use this, you can round it out because it's not deep enough.
Oh, that'd
So
be
you
a bad
need that
time.
thing. Yeah. So yeah, Allen's adapter set. I do use the snap-on rails for these. I just find that they fit best. My go-to coolant clamp pliers. I don't know what it is. I think it's the thickness here.
Okay.
Like I was trying to talk to you about, like on the other clamp tools, I like to be able to move it, and I have to have the leverage. I think it's just this tied with it. It's just the right plier. Gotcha. So that's my go-to for coolant pliers. I have the standard snap-on trim tools. Oh, here's a good one. This is my most used tool.
That's it right there.
This is it. I use this for coolant hoses. My apprentice is learning a lot about it, but basically when we want to take a hose off and it's stuck, like I was telling you, the rubber gets kind of broken down, especially with the heat. This allows me to slide in there using some silicone spray, work my way around the hose and break it free.
Nice.
This is the safest way to remove. I also use this for clips. Allows me to release the clip without damaging it. Because if you go straight to this, you're actually damaging the plastic clip.
Oh, I see.
So this allows you to safely remove it. Snap-on pliers, again, the grips. This is the 45 degree. This is the one I use the most. Nice. So that's why it sits up here. Snap-on ratchets, we already talked a little bit about them, nothing special, but they're my go-to. Awesome. The 3/8 here is my favorite.
Is it?
I use this for rear differential services, front differential services, tied with an Allen here. Allows you to get in tight spaces and have plenty of leverage.
Yeah, that's perfect length.
So it's a good buy. This is going to be just a 1/2-inch ratchet, again, snap-on. I kind of grew on liking the chromes later in my career.
Okay.
I didn't like them at first, but yeah. So
just easy to clean too.
Easy to clean.
Yeah.
Snap-on pry bars. You've probably seen plenty of these.
Yeah.
They're all great. This happened this week. Luckily, it's meant for that, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably not the way. So I use this to go in between a rotor. And then it hits the caliper and allows me to torque the nut on the axle. Mm-hmm. Whatever happened, it got stuck in the rotor. And so it would not come out, I'm not sure. So it got a little bit bent. Might be a new special tool for something. If not, I got snap-on warranty.
Yeah, there you go.
Snap-on blowguns here.
Whoa.
Yep, like I said, really deep.
Yeah.
And then this one's got a little bit of a bent to it.
Okay, yeah.
So this is nice for getting into like tube seals to kind of get just where you need to go. This is a mechanic time saver, I believe, holder, but I kind of use it as my catch-all.
Okay.
So this is going to have specialty Subaru brake caliper bolt removal sockets. They just have a little bit of wobble, meant for an impact, 19 and 17. Sorry, Company 23, but this is an Amazon CTA special tool for allowing you to turn over and crank the engine when you're working on it.
Gotcha.
You've probably seen plenty of these heavy weighted sockets for crank pulleys.
Nice.
So we have the full set there. Company 23,
there we go.
T70 for diffs on Subarus. This is just a setup that I made, 17 chrome with a extension that fits for torquing the bolts that this fits.
I see, okay.
So impact it off and then torque it down.
So why do they sell this if that would fit in there?
Because this will allow you just to use an impact. Where this, I usually have to fit it's kind of a sneaky fit, and you're not able to get a ton of leverage.
Oh,
so this is just a quicker
Gotcha.
solution.
I see.
You can also use it to torque it on, but I like to use a wrench to torque it on. Head bolt set, Mac. Nice and reliable. I've used this one to death.
Nice.
Hasn't broken on me. Works great. Torque wrenches, which I pulled one out already. I like to torque a lot of things, if not everything, on a vehicle. I also will mark with a paint pen after I touch something.
Okay.
That's just a visual cue, especially when I've been apprenticing people. I always teach them this habit early on, so if I need to double check their job, I can see what they've touched just with a visual cue.
That's smart, yeah.
So it came from that, and then of course when you ask an apprentice to do something, you can't not do it yourself.
Sure, yeah.
Right? So this was a cool find, and one of my go-to torque wrenches, old Snap-on split beam torque wrench. I scored on eBay for 80 bucks.
What?
And it's just like, I use it all the time. So
Wow.
anytime I'm doing diff service, this is my go-to
Nice.
torque wrench. It's got a little bit of flex. I like it because it's quick and easy. The electronic ones are slower at changing. So
Sure.
for when I'm doing like quick stuff that it doesn't need to be super accurate,
Right.
this is going to be my go-to. Same thing for the 1/2-inch, another eBay find, super cheap. They go cheap because a lot of people switch to electronics nowadays. So for suspension work, and then I have another one in here just for tires. This is set just for tires. That's all it does all day long.
Gotcha,
Tires. I don't. I have two separate ones there, just because once that is set, it's set.
Just stays
and
there.
then I know that that is set to the right spec, and I can just torque a tire and move on.
Nice.
The last thing you want is a wheel popping off at any point,
yeah.
right? So torque your tires. These are going to be the Matco. The ones that you saw earlier.
Yeah.
So those are the common sizes that I'll use them on.
Gotcha.
Works great. Swivels, different things like that. Nothing too special there. Snap-on. kind of slowly been replacing my Sunex ones. Now my Sunex ones haven't broke, but the snap-on ones have just a little bit thinner profile.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a couple of times where the Sunex didn't fit somewhere where this one would. So I've made this switch slowly over. No shade on Sunex though, because I had their sockets when I first started out. They were fantastic for most of my career. I don't know if you can see those. Those are Sunex torque adapters.
Nice.
Couldn't really justify buying Snap-on in this case. These work fantastic. I really don't use them too much. It's just in those tight fitting areas to be able to torque something.
Yeah. I like that you put them on like magnets.
Yeah, it works great to store it out of the way.
That's cool.
I didn't want them taking up too much real estate. Dead blow, obviously seen its battles. And then the single 32 millimeter socket for axle nuts. Okay. Standard screwdrivers, nothing special there to show. Just to open up boxes, box cutter.
Oh, look at that. I didn't even notice they had
so there's extra there.
in there.
This is going to be different pick sets, the additional radiator picks, smaller versions of that big guy that you saw. Like I said, these are really nice for when you need them.
Okay.
Not a ton of torque that you want to put on them, but when you just need that extra. These are really fantastic for interior trim clips to allow you to, the one that comes to mind is like a door panel. Sometimes you don't have anything to leverage against, so you want to pop.
Oh, yeah.
Just a chisel set there, nothing special. Works great. They're a little thick for what I like, but that's probably because they expect you to. Pick set long, and then we also have the non-marring pick set as well.
Nice.
So
I love how these widgets just barely
fits,
fit
and
in
that's what I love about them is I'm able to squeak them into things like this is very tight fit, but it's meant to be.
How long did you say you had this?
10 months.
10 months. Okay.
Yeah. Not too long. This is just overflow. I was keeping plugs up in here for a while, but those got moved down to the box as I kind of progressed in. I'm sure you've seen these before to hold a rotor on.
Oh, yeah.
They're controversial. They work pretty good. I don't have a problem with it. It does what it needs to.
I guess if you guys haven't seen it, it's like
it just holds a rotor
on the lug nut,
but
or
people,
the stud.
People love to talk smack about them online. It's pretty funny. These are going to be some alignment pins for Subaru. Lining the front cover when you have this big piece and you want to you have sealant on it, so you want to make sure it's on there.
Gotcha. And then you got the nut wax. I feel like a lot of people don't know about nut wax.
Yeah, this is cool for interior work and works great for something like this. Just put a little bit of dab on there, put a nut. Interior, it's not coming off,
Awesome, keeps the nut inside of the socket. That's cool.
Top drawer. So this is going to be the common use pliers, also common use ratchets. Long neck quarter, stubby cord, or 3/8, long 3/8. Nice. Like I said, when I originally started, I started with Milwaukee. I switched mostly because the trigger.
Oh, okay.
Which nowadays they have a thing to substitute the trigger, but also these are just way more stout. And after using them, even though the price is so expensive, they're better. I don't know how to say it.
And so like the trigger, I guess it's like a wedge design on the
and it catches stuff all the time. And then these just feel way more solid. They're not as fast. Some of them aren't even as torquey, but like for some reason, they just work. Right? With Snap-on tools, like they just hit the mark where they hit. Yeah. Another example of that is going to be this. Like this, it doesn't have a ton of power. Doesn't do anything really exceptional. It does have a really awesome trigger. It's a very mid-length torque. It's not as strong as a Milwaukee, but that's not really the point.
Gotcha.
Like for me, it's a thin profile, gets in tight spots. I use this for when I'm disassembling engines. That's all it does. Nice. If I need more power, I'll step up to another power tool out there. Mac, quarter or half-inch drive air impact. This thing is old reliable, had it for many years. Works great when you need it. And with the Astro swivel, works fantastic.
Man, that swivel looks heavy duty.
Yeah, so this is a heavy airflow.
Okay.
So it'll allow more airflow than the normal.
Oh, really? Okay.
So you'll see it on my air hammer.
Yeah.
here as well. That means that it's not going to choke it.
Gotcha.
Snap-on air tools are really hungry.
Yeah.
So they don't perform as well without it. This air hammer right here, it's not as strong as half of the other ones on the market. Where this thing shines is control.
Okay.
The trigger control on it is fine to where you can like slowly work your way up to it. It's not as strong as the Matco. It's not as strong as that big nasty in there that they call it. But this is what I use for precision hammering, I guess you could say, right? This is a fantastic tool. Everyone should own one.
Awesome.
Nimpex pliers.
Okay.
Maybe you haven't seen this. This is going to be for specialty clamps. So some new emissions, like I'm trying to think. Basically, you would see like a PCV hose.
Okay.
They're starting to switch to a non-removable PCV hose because they don't want people to tamper with it.
Really? Huh.
This will actually allow you to tamper with it. So when we're doing engine work, this allows me to disengage a clamp and put it, take it off and put it on again safely and reusing it without replacing it. These are soft grip for hoses.
Okay.
Nimpex pliers, nothing special, but just allows you to not damage any of the rubber. Some heavy duty.
Yeah, those are fat.
Yeah, these are the ones to replace that Nimpex that I bought on the Black Friday deal that I wanted to open a little bit more. Yeah, so these, but yeah, these are really heavy duty. Doubles as a hammer if you need it. These are pretty solid. Next to the Mac, these are my second favorites.
Okay.
They just have a little bit different, and they allow a little bit wider grip.
Nice.
The new Talon Grip needle nose pliers.
Cool.
The other two plier sets and the standard plier set from Snap-on.
Nice.
This might be a little bit different, but locking, ratcheting.
Oh, that's
for hose
cool.
clamp.
I don't see those very often. I feel like everybody needs those.
Yeah, these work really good. I used them a lot with Toyota because it was like way down there. You need to get that hose clamp.
Gotcha, yeah.
Straight and 45 degree.
Nice.
I guess I can go over to the other power tools over here.
Oh, yeah.
DeWalt's. Like I said, I kind of switched and tried these out. These have been fantastic.
Have they?
Now, compared to the new Milwaukee that came out, I don't know how they hold up anymore. But for the long time, these, I think, held the throne.
Nice.
So as far as DeWalt power tools, I like them a lot, and they're cheap because a lot of them, I feel like, are just kind of overlooked. So yeah, they've been really good to me.
I do like that they only use one battery size.
It is
nice.
very nice. And the power stacks are good, like the power that comes out of them and the longevity of it, super, super awesome. It's a cool drawer. I don't think this is what it was meant for, but this is what I use it for.
I feel like all your drawers, gosh, look at this, this is crazy.
So this is like a thin little drawer. I think it was meant for like speed drawer. You know how like they normally have the speed drawer? I think we missed that on the box over there, but extensions. This is where I keep all of my extensions and torque wrenches and a couple common use. So these are locking Mac, just normal. These are going to be locking with an extra wobble. Locking extension, lock, tons of lock. I'm sure you've seen these before. These are meant for oil pan bolts, but they come in handy for a lot of different things. These
are those Snap-on?
Yep, these are Snap-on, and they're meant for getting into the subframes on Toyotas. You can just get the bolt with it. So that's what the intended purpose, but they kind of caught on and get used a lot. So
yeah, I feel like they're really thin.
They get everywhere.
Nice.
But yeah, when it comes to extensions, I always like to have a ton because whenever you're working on like a new engine, a new design, or just like trying to do a job a little bit different, you can really get around taking a lot of things off if you have a way to sneak around. So like spark plugs is a perfect example. It saves me a ton of time just by having a couple extensions on it. Snap-on torque wrenches. Bought those back when I was first starting out, and then my wife bought me the baby torque wrench.
Look at that.
I love this one. And I used it for hybrids. You always want to torque your bolts with hybrids. The last thing you want is a loose connection with some high voltage.
That's a great gift right there.
Yeah, she always took care of me. Baby ratchet.
Nice.
Way too expensive for what it is. But it's awesome. I have used it a couple of times, I promise. Half-inch extend ratchets again.
Cool.
But yeah. More wrenches. So a couple differences from the main box is you're going to see these, which I made myself.
No way.
So if anyone's listening that's a tool manufacturer out there, you need to make this, which is basically the normal wrench that you'll see all over Amazon, Matco, and everything like that, but chopped off short.
Nice.
The extra lip that this provides allows you to get so many more places. This is my go-to.
Look at that.
So I chopped up my old set when I bought the Snap-on.
Okay.
Because I really didn't need any more, and so I used these and I just rounded them off. Someone should make them.
That's awesome. So what do you use like that for? Just like...
Tight profile. Like I said, there was that transmission job on Subaru that has that really tight bolt. And once you can use that to back it out most of the way, and then you have to switch to an actual wrench. But that allowed me to speed up that job way more, because I don't need the long swing.
Right, yeah.
I need a short swing, and so, you know. So then the Snap-on ones, again, we already kind of talked about those before.
Nice. So do you like the Snap-on ones a lot more than the old?
I do, just because that side trigger hitting,
Okay,
definitely like it more.
Yeah.
I have my SKs, I have some Cornwell.
Oh, nice.
That's probably one of the few Cornwell tools I own.
Okay.
In there, those are good. Different brake bleeders. These wrenches have been really good to me. I bought them back when I was an apprentice, and so yeah, they
held up.
They work great, and the ratcheting's always been good. Easy reds, different sizes, 1/4 inch bit driver.
Nice.
On one side. Thin wrenches, you know, just in case you need the clearance profile.
Yeah.
And then these are going to be the speed wrenches from before. So this is going to be all the common use sizes again that I'm going to do on a day-to-day basis.
You got the Knipex like adjustable.
Oh yeah. So
Those
yeah,
awesome
these are great. I use them for alignments occasionally. I did find that like on the high torque, like you need to break it free. Not always the best.
I found that too. Yeah, definitely.
But they are nice and like just quick and easy. So this is going to be a little bit of overflow for electrical. This is going to be a fluke meter. Again, eBay. This is my go-to.
What?
So back before they had the, you know, Kieran different setups, how this works is it just basically allows you to, might be dead. I was just using it the other day. Anyway, all it does is allows you to separate that off, magnet it.
What?
So then you can walk away.
That's
Or
wild.
test drives, different things like that. Really comes in handy.
Wow. So this could be like in the engine bay while you're watching this. That's so. Is it like Bluetooth or something? Or?
I believe so. Yeah. Yep. It's got a battery here, battery there. 233A, and I love this thing. Missions. I don't like hooking up the full scan tool. Like those scan tools are great, but they do take a while to scan. 10 seconds, like you're just done. So that's quick and easy. Did it pass? Did it fail? Test lights. You want to do OTC. This is going to be an actual normal bulb test light that's actually going to draw enough amperage to kind of test the load.
Okay.
Snap-on one's great, quick and easy, but I've had this one bite me because it doesn't draw enough of a load that a fuse can be blown and it can actually read. So, Matco ignition coil tester works fantastic for just a quick check. Is that coil firing? Is it not? Special tool through Subaru. It allows you to push up the negative terminal and do a parasitic draw. So it just like props it out of the way so it doesn't touch anything.
Okay.
Fluke meter set, Snap-on trim tools. This one's pretty common on the tool trucks. I believe this one though I found on Amazon. It's just a little bit different design.
Oh yeah.
And I wrapped them in tape.
Nice.
Some trim tools there. Interior gun, not a lot of power, but it's got the trigger that I love.
Yeah.
And with just the extension and magnetic JIS bits.
Okay.
Anytime you're working on a Japanese vehicle, most likely that's what they're using. If you use a Phillips, you can get away with it, but these hold on so much better.
Sure.
These are kind of retired impacts, so that's got another JIS bit built into it. And then this, with the long socket setup, this is for batteries, because the hold down, when you put that J hook down, sometimes the only thing that can reach it is this long of an extension. So I just keep this one here because it's like every battery on Subaru nowadays. It's way too far.
It's so cool that you can dedicate like a whole tool for just a certain part.
And it's not intentional. It's just like I said, I kind of retire them.
Okay,
And so it's like they better get some use out of them, right?
That's awesome.
So plugs, which I'm gonna bring this one down as well. This one will get you. So
man, that thing's
when you do engine work, I try to be really clean. since I do a lot of the same job now, my whole goal whenever I pull an engine job is to keep it as clean as possible.
Okay.
The way I do that is different plugs, so you'll see all of those here. And then this kit is pretty cool. This is meant for diesels.
Okay.
I had a buddy who worked at CAT, and he had told me about this, that they use it out in the field to prevent fluids from leaking off. So this one's pretty cool because it allows you all the different caps, different sizes that you could ever need. This will allow you to plug it.
That's awesome.
So I keep that, and it's got everything that I could possibly need.
Sweet.
It is a little expensive, but yeah, it's probably way more than it should be. I think it was like 150 bucks.
Oh yeah.
But it's nice just because I don't have to keep piecing together powder coating kits.
Yeah.
Because that's where these are coming from. Amazon and Pi, which those work great for some, but you kind of get to these weird sizes sometimes, and it doesn't work. So this is just going to be different plugs, everything like that.
Yeah, it's just like another level of professionalism. Like you don't see this in every box. Like,
yeah, I try to keep it clean. You know, and with the apprentice, he knows he's learning, right?
Yeah.
And he'll make messes and everything like that. And I've made plenty of messes, but my whole goal is to keep going to make it as clean as possible. That will save me time cleaning, and also it's just way cleaner job at the end of it.
Sure.
Keeps me entertained too. Die grinder for hubs. I like using it for cleaning rotors and everything. Normal Mac. This one I got for like 20 bucks.
Nice.
This guy, heavier duty than some of the other brands out there. This is like all metal construction, so
is it? Okay.
it's good. And then I have a Pro Cut lug nut kit that I bought.
Lug nut kit, what?
Yeah. So that comes with any one of the machines, but you can buy them individually from them. I just like having that in case I need
Nice.
to hold something on. Also, when I use the brake lathe, I use that.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a kind of cool kit from Toyota. Back in the day, there was like a sunroof rattle something concern. It's all foam.
Oh.
So this is how we fix squeaking rattles for
Really?
a long time. So you would get this full kit for this one repair, and you'd have a ton left. So I've kept that for many years.
Nice.
I think it was like 600 bucks too. Like it was expensive. Customers wouldn't have to pay for it, but it was really expensive. This is just going to be air-powered retractable.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Amazon works great.
You still have have to do a lot of that?
Yeah, you can use the electronic retraction, but I find the manual to work a little bit better.
Oh,
and
really?
I have had a couple of times when I've done the electronic version and it actually gets stuck.
Oh.
So the mechanical retract so far hasn't caused that issue.
I didn't know you could use that on the electronic one.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't know if they have to, but I know that most of them allow a mechanical because if it got seized, you have to be able to manually push it back in.
That makes sense, yeah.
Mini inductor, this thing's amazing for when you want to heat something up but don't want to burn everything else down. And then it's got the different adapters in it. So
Nice.
I've had this for years. It works great. It's way better than an open flame.
Oh yeah, for sure. Get some red hot in like seconds.
Yeah, it's not bad at all on time. This is just kind of a cool thing when you become a master technician.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, and then when I went to Tech Comp, they gave me 2 more, and so I ended up donating those to the local teaching.
Nice.
Give them to another student. Huh. They're actually kind of rare nowadays because they don't pass them out too easy.
Oh, that's awesome.
If you come over here, I forget what this is called from Snap-on, but they have this adapter set that you can hang cans and different things like that.
Yeah.
So you can get can holders, laptop holders, all kinds. I just have my 2 common air or hammers down there.
Nice.
Yes, but that's the full cart.
Man. And then you've got this thing over here, like this. This thing is cool. Look at that.
Yeah, so this is a handy teardown table.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
And whenever I do engine work.
Is this something that you bought, or is
Yes,
this? Okay.
This is something I bought. Made in the USA, one of the few teardown tables that I could find out there. And this basically will drain all the fluid to the central. So when we're working on transmission teardowns, manual transmission teardowns, this prevents a big mess from happening. It's also just kind of a great shelf.
Yeah, that's so nice. Oh, so it drains into this little thing. Okay.
Right in there.
Huh.
So nice to
so
keep
cool.
clean. So anytime I take something off the engine over here, moves over here.
Man,
Then it drains, and then I can move on to the cleaning process.
that's so awesome.
And so, yeah.
Do you keep stuff in this?
No, not anymore. I've been able to
Gotcha.
negate it, but I used to keep air cleaning tools in here, but
Oh, okay.
I have room in there now.
Yeah. That's so cool.
And then my go-to engine stand here, Summit Racing.
Look at
This
that.
thing's pretty freaking cool. It works great. I had a manual one for a while, but I almost had a mishap where it caught my hand.
Oh, no.
And hands are kind of important in the automotive industry. You need them. So I figured I'm just going to spend the money, get the rotation so I don't have to worry about it tipping.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is catch your hand. And, you know,
man.
the one cool thing that I don't see any other stand. Now I did see that Harbor Freight makes like a close replica.
Okay.
This right here. So when you rotate, you have a little bit of slop.
Okay.
Right? What this does is actually locks down the gear inside of here. So when you're torquing a head bolt, there's no more play.
Oh,
At all.
gotcha, yeah.
So that's kind of a cool feature. I have not seen that on any other stand.
Man.
So Summit Racing on that one.
So
the first
sweet.
one I got was all scratched up, and they sent me another one for free.
No way.
So I got to give a shout out to their customer service on that because I was impressed.
And what are these? Are these like brakes? Or
Yep.
what?
So these are
no
brakes,
way.
and I actually use one of those sockets,
Look at that.
so I
Oh,
can
that's
use an impact
awesome.
on it.
So this thing is like planted when it's here.
Yeah, it's not going nowhere.
Sweet.
Which is exactly what you want when you're working on engine and doing precision work. So,
That's just amazing. And you got, is that yours too?
Yep. So this is
Look at
the Viper chair. I actually won this. I did not buy it.
Oh my god.
This is be the best chair. It's also got the wide body unit. They call it the big boy edition.
Okay.
I won this chair in a raffle on Instagram. I was up at a Subaru class and I was like, what the hell, I'll enter it.
Okay.
And I won.
That is so awesome.
They sent me this chair free of charge. I don't know if they still do raffles or anything else nowadays, but I love it.
Man.
And you get in it and you'll roll and you'll disappear. You'll be like, bye. The casters are so good. When we get over to my Snap-on cart over there, I replaced my Snap-on casters with Viper casters.
No way.
Just because they roll so well. So
Gosh, that's awesome. So you think it's worth the price, even though you got it for free? Like,
yeah, it is. I would do a payment plan.
yeah.
I don't think I could stomach the full amount out of the gate, but yeah, no, it is. Yeah. They're definitely worth it. And I love that it's a USA made.
Okay.
I try to buy USA made when I can. Can't always justify it.
Yeah.
This is a cool company. I love what they do. So, and then working over here. This is going to be a Snap-on teardown tray.
Nice.
So I keep all my spare organizers, pop-ups. I like these a lot. So as I go through a job, fill the 3, and then I'll move them over to like a shelf or anything like that, and then I keep this nice and free and keep collecting bolts.
Yeah.
This tray is awesome. Very expensive.
Is it?
But yeah, it was like $700. So comparatively to the rest of the market, it doesn't really make sense. The couple of things that put it apart, it's really tall.
Okay.
I really like that. It's wide. It's a lot bigger than a lot of them. It's got the metal tray back here with a couple of slots for different things. I don't think that's too different. It does also do this. So if you have heavy parts, you don't have to release usually what you'll see is like a screw, and then you have to hold it and then slide it down.
Oh, okay.
So this has got a ratchet that lowers, raises it.
Huh.
Also, it's got a design for this, which goes.
Oh, yeah.
So it slides over. So back when I was working on a lot of heavy duty trucks, this tied with the overhead creeper meant that you didn't have to go up and down.
Nice.
And then these are just going to be Sunex magnetic mats. I was trying them out compared to the Snap-on. They're cheaper significantly. The magnets are definitely not as strong.
Oh, okay.
That's one thing I can say. All right. So this is going to be overflow. Basically, in the shop, sometimes techs will need other things. They need to borrow stuff from me. When I'm not here, I want it to be available to them, but I don't want to leave my box unlocked.
Sure.
Right? That kind of defeats the whole purpose. So I have this, which is going to house a vise on it. And this, I don't think Milwaukee makes these anymore. I bought this a while ago. It was at home for a while. But basically, this is going to be kind of overflow parts and anything that I don't really care if it's not locked up type of thing.
Gotcha.
And if somebody needs it, they can use it. So We have some gloves, some microfibers. This is going to be a wheel socket set, Subaru specific mudguard, and then like a generic set, a couple lifting brackets, ratcheting straps, chains, different things like that.
I like how these are like half.
Yeah, they're really nice, and it's great because if you needed to clamp like a piece of metal, C-clamps can fit right here.
Huh.
This is going to be kind of spare parts bin where we have some spare gaskets, different things like that, some leftover parts that for different jobs. We have a cooling system. This is going to be the refiller that I was telling you about earlier, so nothing fancy.
Nice, yeah.
Some spare gloves, vacuum tips.
What is that? Vacuum tips? Oh, for the vacuum cleaner.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So just like extended reach.
Gotcha.
Okay. Cleaning supplies, assembly lube, tape, different things like that. All the different things that I'll use throughout an engine job and repair. Different adapters for an oil funnel kit, which is down below. Oil change adapters, clutch alignment tools.
Nice.
These are the valve shims that I was telling you about. So this is going to be all the different sizes that we use with Subarus. Also some cleaning brushes. Yeah.
That's different. I was thinking like Toyotas, they have the...
Yeah, these are a lot smaller.
Wow.
So yeah, those are all the different sizes. Huh. This one's cool. I'll take some time on this one. This is an Amazon find. This thing sprays.
Is it?
Yeah, it's loud, and I tie this in with brake clean.
Okay, that whole thing's brake cleaner? Holy
This
crap.
is all brake clean. So when you have a big mess, this will go to it, and I threw one of the Astro swivels on it.
Nice.
This thing works great. I had an engine job not too long ago that I just finished getting all clean. Spent like 3 days getting it. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Some of my best work. And I pinched an oil filter O-ring.
No.
Cooler. So I started it, and the oil filters on Subarus, they sit up top.
Oh, yeah.
Started it, 10-foot geyser, up, covers. Took me 3 days to clean it.
No.
That thing came in handy. Lots of brake clean. Overflow for just some swivels, and different widgets. And
Nice.
Tub of towels, shout out. And then also the Snap-on Speed Wax, something I use to clean the box.
Oh, nice.
This is kind of a funny one. I use a plunger. This has like cleaning in it. I got really tired of pouring out a can, so I pour the can in here.
Nice.
I saw a guy that rebuilds chainsaws using it. And it's
Wait, so what do you put in there? Just like brake
clean? Not brake clean. It's like a cleaning solution from Worth. It's like super high strength. I just dab a rag with it, and then when you do the final prep, right before you reseal, that works.
Okay.
So I don't have to keep pouring the can every time.
Yeah.
Desiccants, nothing special. Cool trick. WD-40 with a tub of towel is how I clean my tools.
Really? WD-40 and tub of towels?
It came from a guy on Instagram. He's a mechanic over in New York, but he sprays it on there, and what that does is actually re-lubricates the rubbers so you don't dry it out. Because a cleaning solution, a tub of towel does great, but it also dries it out, so the WD-40 helps with that.
Wow.
So that's why you can prevent the discoloration on your tools.
Yeah.
So,
Man, pro tip there.
this is just overflow, different O-rings, different stuff, storage trays. And then I have all my Matco organizers, stuff like that down there. Break-in kit for when you lock yourself out.
Nice.
Organizers for valve shim, and pressure bleeder adapter set sits down there.
Okay.
And then this is going to be a pressure bleeder. So it took me a while to purchase one. They're either really expensive, really cheap. There's no in between.
Okay.
This is kind of the in between. This is a Napa pressure bleeder. So whenever I do like an ABS module, you're opening a lot of air to the system. This will allow you to bleed it quickly, where vacuum takes a little bit of time to get the air out of there, because this forces fluid in rather than pulling it out.
So this pushes on top of the master. Okay.
So it can be a big mess if it's not done correctly. This is like $300, and this thing works great.
Really?
It's air powered, so you just chuck it, boom, lock it on there, good to go.
So when you put this on there and then you crack a bleeder,
it pushes out.
like a ton of...
Pretty good. It depends on how far back the brake line is, different things like that, but it does push fairly quickly. It's faster than vacuum bleeding. It's just way more risky that you get something wrong and it covers the whole carbon blade. So I try not to use it when I'm in a rush state, like a
Gotcha.
service, I'll just use it when I really need a
Gotcha.
solid bleed.
I guess you have to make sure that the master has fluid,
Yeah.
like enough fluid in it.
Yeah,
to-
and the main thing is just that it's seated, because there's so much pressure that if it does pop off,
Yeah, that'd
you know,
be terrible.
not a good day. Nothing too special about the funnels. These have screw-on adapters.
Oh.
So they used to just be like a press-in,
Oh, right, yeah.
but now they've updated it so it's screwed. So it's not
way.
wobbly anymore and doesn't pop off. So,
Interesting. I like the valve too. That's cool.
yeah.
I
Oh,
was
yeah.
just like
I
stick
forgot
my
that's
finger
a-
in there.
Yeah,
like,
so
that's genius.
what do we got left? Oh,
Is
there's
it?
a couple things on the side here.
Okay.
The purse. So that was meant for using. I don't know if I showed you this one either. The hub beater
Oh, okay.
to bust off wheel bearings on stuck cars. So,
Nice.
yep, that doesn't get used too much.
Okay.
That's why I probably forgot about it. Fender covers. These are my favorite. Weighted with sand.
Oh,
So they're not
what?
magnetic. From Snap-on.
What?
I use these on every car, every day.
That's awesome.
I have 6 of them.
I would imagine sand would be way better than a magnet.
It's way better because everything's aluminum nowadays. So,
Oh, that's
some
cool.
type of different metal. So yeah, I have 3 on this side, 3 on that side. Covers every car. I don't have to worry about it. Rigid vacuum, just a battery-powered one for when vacuuming out cows that are pretty dirty. Couple of fans. These are pretty cool little organizers. From Craftsman. I like how they stack. They're pretty cheap.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Nice.
spare plugs.
Cool.
And then on the side, this is going to be where I do my brakes because
Oh.
they get a little bit messy.
Yeah.
It's another teardown table.
What?
Drain.
Look
So
at that.
I'll clean it, spray it down, and then clean up the calipers and rotors here.
Oh, that's sweet.
So it's a baby teardown table. Creeper, nothing special. Big pry bars
Ginormous.
that don't get used too much anymore. When I do have to bust them out, they're not too fun. And then just a holder that I found on Amazon for bumpers.
That's awesome.
Lots of flags and a Milwaukee radio. Yeah.
Man, you have such an amazing setup here. Gosh, I feel like you're in a position to open up your own shop pretty easily here. Like
We've been collecting slow and steady as I go, and then when the time comes and I'm ready,
that's awesome.
I'll be ready.
Yeah. I always like to ask guys that have been in it for a while if they have any advice for maybe younger guys that are looking to get into the industry, get started. What would you have for them?
Well, if we're going to talk about tools specifically, kind of what I've talked about multiple times throughout is just please don't bury yourself in debt. What I have here over 8 years has required quite a bit of investment on my side of things. This is my hobby, so please don't think that this is standard for what you need to work on cars. I do think, though, that as you progress in your career and move up to higher levels, you shouldn't be borrowing tools consistently. You should have most of what you need. So as a Master Tech, you should have Master Tech level tools. That means having the things that necessarily you don't use all the time. So please make sure that you're purchasing tools that you use and need, but don't bury yourself in debt out of the gate until you're sure that it's what you want to do long term.
Love that. Love that. That's such good advice, man. Well, Josh, thank you so much for meeting up with me. This has been great. I'm serious. This is just awesome. I love it so much. Hope you guys enjoyed it. A little bit of a longer one, and I'm so excited. But if you guys have a setup you'd like to have or share on this channel, you can hit me up on Instagram or just send me an email. But till the next one, we'll see you.